Peace, peace, peace. Peace, love, and light to all American Aborigines. This is your brother Aboriginal Power. You tuned in to another Wake and Bake show. We're going to start this thing off properly. Make sure you hit that like button, thumb up the video. Let's go.
I gotta find my peace, I know that's why I'm out of reach. Over time when the work came in, got no time when the bag came in. Whatever it takes, it's happening. Yeah. I gotta find my peace, I know that's why I'm out of reach. I got no time to speak, little baby. I gotta flood the streets. Over time when the work came in, got no time when the bag came in. Gotta go bathing. Over time I'm not laden with you. I gotta find my peace, I know that's why I'm out of reach. I got no time to speak, little baby. I gotta flood the streets. Over time when the work came in, got no time when the bag came in. Gotta go bathing. Over time I'm not laden with you.
Shout out to all my American Aborigines. And John Rodder in the building. Shout out to all American Aborigines in the building. We just getting to go in the vibration. If you ain't subscribed, damn, it feel good to be Aboriginal. Shout out to American Aborigines and my FBA brothers. Another fire live stream from you guys.
Whatever it takes, it's heli. I seek no rewards. Look. Pressures of being great. I'm tatted with scars, I feel the look from their eyes, I know they gazing from far. Overcoming my fears, I never wanted this life, been giving them pain. Know my soul been paying the price, get fucked about the ice. Really, I just give on my life, been thinking too much. Inside my head, I'm living it twice, been feeling convicted. Every time I step on this mic, my art form, it come from God. This ain't no gimmick, my nigga, the vision really is vivid. See my canvas and shiver. Every time I'm here to deliver. My ex bitch, she ain't believing, now she crying me rivers. She got a heavy heart, but ain't no time for reminiscing. Guard my energy, won't turn me to a victim. Believed in my potential, fuck what you projecting. I make you see my words, like this is a projection. I pray to God to call my soul, yes, I need some protection. Ain't busted down my watch, ain't busted down my chains. Got everything to lose, got everything to gain. Yeah, my soul tied to this shit. And I told the opposition that I'll die for this shit. It's you versus you. Never let this fucking world ever tell you who the fuck that you supposed to be. It's you versus you. Never let them tell you who you are. Define yourself, nigga. Focus on your dreams. It's you versus you. Never let this fucking world ever tell you who the fuck that you supposed to be. It's you versus you. Never let them tell you who you are. Define yourself, nigga. Focus on your dreams. It's you versus you. It's you versus you. It's you versus you. With myself, the hardest battle of all. And when you look inside that mirror, are you seeing your flaws? I became a man and my dad was never involved. But all these people trying to be the same, it's hard to evolve. Gave birth to a poet. Really, I just write what I saw. And all them days alone writing, it was just me and God trying to find my purpose. I needed a sign. Many days I was lost. I was trapped in a bind. The type of fear that I felt, you can feel in your spine. It's me versus me. I knew that I was different from niggas. I talk my shit. And really, I be shitting on niggas. I'm staying humble. Yeah, I'm staying humble. Ain't busted down my watch, ain't busted down my chains. Got everything to lose, got everything to gain. Yeah, my soul tied to this shit. And I told the opposition that I'll die for this shit. It's you versus you. Never let this fucking world ever tell you who the fuck that you supposed to be. It's you versus you. Never let them tell you who you are. Define yourself, nigga. Focus on your dreams. It's you versus you. Never let this fucking world ever tell you who the fuck that you supposed to be. It's you versus you. Never let them tell you who you are. Define yourself, nigga. Focus on your dreams. It's you versus you.
Don't let this fucking place define you.
It's you versus you.
At the end of the day, you gotta look at it. Who are
It's
you?
you versus you.
What do you do this for? They're always gonna tell you what you're supposed to do, but at the end of the day, walking God's plan.
Shout out to everybody in the building, man. Y'all know the vibes, man. We're going to play one more jammy jam before we even get started. I need everybody to hit that like button before we even get started. Need everybody to hit that like button before we get started, man. So shout out to everybody in the building, man. Y'all know the vibes. Y'all know the vibes, man. Let's get to it.
Whatever it takes.
Shout out to everybody in the building, man. You know what city and what state y'all in. This is the way.
Yeah, you gotta pay attention. Feelings from the past, yeah, you gotta pay attention. They won't say my name, but they put it in a mention. Too much sneak dissing, yeah, we need an intervention. Right before the fall, I swear my niggas, they won't listen. Right before the fall, you took them pills, you got addicted. Right before the fall, you run your mouth, you turn to dentist. Free my niggas in the cage, know that shit get lonely. You was with me from the start, but you did me phony. Look my bitch right in the eyes, tell her she my only. Poppin' shit on Instagram, they don't even know me. Had to turn my savage up to turn me to the old me. Killers moving silent, so I gotta kill them softly. Lie better, little baby, but lie better. You playing the other side on God out. Trendsetter, no talking, I did better. They watching my moves, playing my moves. I did let up, I kept it aside. Niggas get shifty, I did something, I'm moving around. Gotta get to it, this bread, something they want me to drown. Remember they told me I was nothing, I've been through some things. On God, baby, I can't front it. Feelings from the past, yeah, you gotta pay attention. They won't say my name, but they put it in a mention. Too much sneak dissing, yeah, we need an intervention. Right before the fall, I swear my niggas, they won't listen. Right before the fall, you took them pills, you got addicted. Right before the fall, you run your mouth, you turn to dentist. Free my niggas in the cage, know that shit get lonely. You was with me from the start, but you did me phony. Look my bitch right in the eyes, tell her she my only. Poppin' shit on Instagram, they don't even know me. Had to turn my savage up to turn me to the old me. Killers moving silent, so I gotta kill them softly. Do better, you said that you do better. These niggas playing at 50, I really got moved better. I got these on my block, I can't play round. I position want my life, I can't play round. We gon' get it back in blood if they stay round. Know them niggas off the drugs, they gon' lay down. I was love, you put me right in the middle. That niggas that screaming gang and niggas that wanna kill you. They got feelings from the past, pay attention. They only sending shots cause these niggas want attention. Won't be no RIP, hella intervention. Put threats on my name, make me turn them to a pension. Feelings from the past, yeah, you gotta pay attention. They won't say my name, but they put it in a mention. Too much sneak dissing, yeah, we need an intervention. Right before the fall, I swear my niggas, they won't listen. Right before the fall, you took them pills, you got addicted. Right before the fall, you run your mouth, you turn to dentist. Free my niggas in the cage, know that shit get lonely. You was with me from the start, but you did me phony. Look my bitch right in the eyes, tell her she my only. Poppin' shit on Instagram, they don't even know me. Had to turn my savage up to turn me to the old me. Killers moving silent, so I gotta kill them softly.
Shout out to everybody in the building, man. Damn, man, y'all know the vibes. I got a good show for y'all today, man. Let me finish rolling up my wood. Shout out to everybody in the building too, by the way. Shout out to everybody that's tuning in. I appreciate the love. Make sure y'all support the channel as y'all come in. If you're not subscribed, make sure you subscribe, man. You know they already playing with the notifications and the algorithm. They don't be wanting to send my notifications out. So I'm glad y'all able to tap in. You understand me? Shout out to my brother Aboriginal TV, God of the Geechies, Geechie God TV. If you have not subscribed to that channel, hey, make sure y'all run over there and subscribe to that channel real fast type shit. You feel me? Go subscribe to that channel real fast type shit. Damn, we got a fire ass show today, man. But listen, I want to kind of get into the bag that we was in yesterday too, man. We was on some good topics. And I was ready to chop it up, but I had some shit to do. Today I got time. Today I got time. Hey man, y'all know it's tradition over here at Big Aboriginal Power Channel, man, for y'all to drop what y'all smoking on in the chat, what city and what state you from, and all that good stuff, man. You know what I'm saying? As I go through and shout out to everybody that's tuning in, especially those that's not able to comment or type in the chat. You feel me? Who else we got in here? We got 81 people already in here. It's already snapping. It's already snapping in this thing. Shout out to everybody in the building, man. It's all love. Shout out to Jan Ronner, Day Day, Savia Jones, Mo Naga. Who else we got in the building? Eastside 14. What up, folks? We see you in here. I can't pronounce your name, so I'm not even going to try. But I appreciate you for tapping in. Maybe you can come on the panel and tell me how to pronounce it. Shout out to my boy, Truth Over Everything, Crypto Cakes Cartel. Crypto Cakes Cartel. Babel in the building. You understand me? T Turner in the building. Jaguar. Clout in the building. We got Mound City Mellow. Cahusa D Hoopy. What up, though? Mo Naga. Who else we got in here? We got Willie Jones. What up, Willie? What up, fam? We got the elder. We got the sister in here. Shout out to D3D. You understand me? Shout out to Babel. It's good to see all my American Aborigines in here. Shout out to David Bale in the building. We got Shamil Thomas in here as well, man. Shout out to Shamil. Shout out to my brother Shamil. We got Samaj B in the building. Son of California in the building. Understand me? Still learning in the building. Yazelle in the building. Smoke Signal in the building. But Copper Color, ooh, Jazz in the building. Copper Color Jazz in the building. What up, though? Who else we got in here? Al Capone. What up with it, Brody? Good to see you in here, too. Juan Torres. We'll recognize what? You already know. We'll recognize what? We already know the vibes, man. We got House of Nathans. Thinking Space in the building. Swarty Cars, Caesar. Hope I didn't fuck your name up, gang. Shout out to you. We got everybody. Did we hit everybody? Yeah, we hit everybody. So now, since I hit everybody, man, I need everybody to do your brother a favor. C. Robert, shout out to my kinfolk. C. Robert's in the building, man. I need everybody to support the channel. I need everybody to hit that like button. Also, I need a few people to support the channel before we even get started, man. Let's get a few people to support the channel, man. We about to put in some heat today. I'm gonna need y'all to support the channel today. Shout out to everybody in the building. Shout out to everybody in the building. So yeah, I need y'all to support the channel. And in the meanwhile, while y'all do that, man, thumb up the video for your brother. Thumb up the video for your brother, man. We got 96 people in here. Got 49 likes. I ain't even starting the show till we get up to at least 70 likes. Matter of fact, let me light my wood up till y'all hit that like. All right. That's what I'm talking about. I need y'all to hit that like. Run them likes up. You understand what I'm saying? Let's get these likes up. Shout out to all American Aborigines in the building. After y'all hit the like button, just to let your brother know that y'all did that, drop a fire emoji in the chat. We only have 7 people hit the like. Come on now, we need at least 22 more people to hit the like button. Don't be no hater like that. Your mama didn't raise you like that. Shout out to Keenan in the building. Keenan Green, what up with it, fam? What you smoking on this Grand Rising, man? You know it's the Wake and Bake show. Don't come in here being bougie with me. I don't smoke. It's 2023. I don't drink coffee or anything. Well, shut up. You know what I'm saying? Respect, though. Respectfully. You don't want to hear that. This is the smoking channel. You understand me? You don't want to hear you niggas talking about GMO'd ass weed. No, nigga, this shit hand grown from Aborigine. How I know? Because you can go shop with them on Instagram. Go to Asteroid Co on Instagram. Go to Asteroid Co on Instagram. Use promotion code Aborigine. You can acquire some of the finest hand grown Aborigine packaging owned business of herbs that you will ever see, man. Exclusive fire, great quality. Y'all go check them out. Shout out to Peaches in the building. What up, Peaches? What's going on, Peaches? Good to see you in here. Jeanette, what's going on? Jeanette, what up with it? Big bro Rodney Lewis, what's going on? Good to see you in here, brother. Pop Reed, make sure y'all show some love to the elder Wilmore Reed in the chat. That's the elder in the chat, man. We got 62 likes, man. All I ask is for 8 more likes. All we need is 8 more likes, and I'll start the show. Y'all could have did that when y'all first came in. The show would already been done. See how y'all playing? I'm gonna start putting some of y'all in time out. Goddamn. Shout out to Kill Winers. Kill Winers, I see you, big brother. I see you in that, big brother. Yeah, what y'all smoking on this Grand Rising? Talk to me. Somebody said I'm 3 cups in on the coffee. I know I ain't drink no coffee this morning. Y'all know that's normally my design. But no, I didn't make it to the coffee yet. Come on, man. We got 4 more likes. We just need to get 4 more likes. Come on, somebody not hitting that like button on purpose. Y'all sad. Shout out to all the real ones that's tuning in, man. And we ain't had nobody support the channel yet. Y'all be doing your boy Aboriginal Power wrong. Knowing I'm the most consistent. Knowing we come with that heat. Shout out to my brother Aboriginal TV too, man. Make sure y'all subscribe. Shout out to Chief Holiday too, man. If you ain't subscribed to my brother Supreme Chief Holiday, make sure you go subscribe to Supreme Chief Holiday, man. Get dropping some heat over there, man. Really, really dropping. Somebody said coffee and Henny. Oh hell no, not this early, boy. I'll be somewhere in here talking crazy to y'all asses. Yeah, you don't want to see drunk Ab. Y'all, you know I talk shit when I'm regular, dog. You don't give me no Henny, nigga. They gonna be like, it's real rap in this motherfucker. They gonna say, that's what, who's that real rap? Is that real rap on your panel, nigga? This nigga crazy. They gonna be like, oh shit, this nigga crazy. I'm just talking shit, y'all. Shout out to everybody in the building. Y'all know I always joke around. What y'all say? Y'all funny as hell. Somebody said that's a nigga hot toddy. Yeah, that's an Aborigine hot toddy. Yeah, coffee and Henny. Yeah, that's what really. Yeah. I consider that some medicinal shit. You know what I'm saying? It takes some science behind that to mix the Henny with the coffee bean. You know what I mean? I give that some science. You know what I'm saying? Somebody said I had Cheerios this morning. That's what's up. What I'm gonna have is probably a little bit of this Gushers inside of a backwood, huh? That's what I'm gonna do for lunch, or for breakfast this morning. But yeah, man, I got a fire bit. You see the title: Olmec Culture Found all in North America. Olmec signed the declaration, and X marks the spot. You understand what I'm saying? I know y'all see the title, so we're gonna get into it. But I told you I'm not starting nothing till we get these likes. Let me see where we at with the likes. 73. I feel like we still got 30 people that ain't hit the like. I'm gonna start it anyways though. Peace and blessings to everybody in the building, man. Hopefully everybody is enjoying their Sunday. Hopefully everybody is enjoying their Sunday. Y'all can enjoy this information. You know what I'm saying? Um, I got a few things I want to kind of get into today. I got a couple things I kind of want to get into. I kind of want to talk about the history of some of these pale skins coming here, because we always mention how these people was cannibals and how they was rough when they first came here and they was digging up bodies of the Aboriginals and mainly the Powhatan people in the area. I want to kind of get into that history. I'm gonna prove that the Powhatans is the Olmec as well by symbolism, and you can tell by spiritual ceremonial practices, and not only that, when they took place. We'll get into that. And X marks the spot. I'm not even gonna touch that right now. We get into that later on in the build. Drop a fire emoji in the chat if y'all ready to get it in. I need y'all to flood the chat out. And let's get a few people to support the channel, man. Shout out to everybody in the building, man. Shout out to everybody in the building. Cash App and PayPal information is ticking across at the bottom of the screen. So, man, let's get into the history at hand.
Sites, mosquitoes, not colonists, made sure that everyone got a little taste of whatever was going around. 20 of the citizens perished in August alone. In December, while looking for food with two other men, Captain John Smith, the infamous bullshit artist, was captured by none other than Opechenko, the brother of Wahansen Cow, the chief of the Powhatan. The rest of Smith's crew, the chief's brother, brought him to Powhatan capital, located about 12 miles from Jamestown. This is when Smith's highly fictionalized account of his attempted execution took place. He claimed Princess Pocahontas, inspired by his innocence, threw herself between him and his would-be killers. Smith, who seemingly enjoyed writing narcissistic fan fiction about himself, wrote several different versions of this meeting over the course of his life. He was the only person to tell this story.
So he had delusions of grandeur. In other words, they saying Cuz was a liar and had delusions of grandeur, talking about Pocahontas threw herself in front of me as the killers was about to. Come on, bro. Let nobody spare your bitch ass. You lying.
And every time he did so, it changed ever so slightly. Smith didn't even start telling the story until 1624, when there were no witnesses alive to refute it. If it did happen at all, it almost certainly didn't happen the way Smith says it did. In one of his accounts of the event, Smith claimed that after Pocahontas saved his life, the Powhatan threw a feast in his honor. In his book, A Land as God Made It, John Horne states that, quote, Pocahontas would not have acted on her own initiative to save the Englishmen. As far as we know, she never met Smith before the ceremony. Since she was just 11 years old, such a public display of disobedience to her father in the presence of his great men would have been unthinkable.
So what you're looking at is someone who lying about this woman, and it ain't even a woman, it's a kid. It's a 10-year-old, 11-year-old, haven't even reached 12-year-old puberty. A quinceañera, if what the Mexicans call it. So what you're looking at is these brutish pedos. This is the start of Weinstein, Epstein. Do you understand what I'm saying? Do y'all see where I'm going with this? Pizzagate. This is the start of this right here. Pay attention.
Historians today believe that if the dramatic scene played out at all like Smith described it, it was most likely a ceremony establishing peace between the disparate groups, with Smith captured and sentenced to death and then ritually spared to show goodwill, followed by a feast with the chief's daughter as his side as a symbolic welcome to the family. Tribal politics of the time were full of these sorts of rituals, exchanges of gifts, trading of representatives, token shows of strength and mercy by those in power, frequently misunderstood and misinterpreted by European colonists, who always seemed to start with the assumption that the Native Americans were Stone Age savages with no capacity for abstract thought. By the end of the first year, there were only 38 English settlers still alive in Jamestown, but it's cool because Captain Christopher Newport, who had sailed for England that June, returned in January 1608 with 100 new colonists and more supplies. Smith was actually sentenced to hang for the deaths of the two companions who were with him when he was captured, but Newport decided to spare him and leave him in charge. The two men then traveled to visit the chief to give him some gifts and trade hostages. Wards. Wards are a tradition that has variants all over the world, from the Native American tribes to feudal Japan, and even among royal families in Europe. Perhaps it's why the Jamestown settlers were able to wrap their heads around the concept and not take it literally. Game of Thrones fan, remember, Theon Greyjoy living with the Starks? Yeah, old GRR didn't make up that sort of thing out of his own fuzzy bearded head. Generally speaking, two people in power would trade family members, usually younger sons or nephews. Whereas a political marriage involves one family marrying into the other via a daughter, words were often a bit more equable, a sort of deliberate vulnerability. You have one of my children, I have one of your children. If either of us makes the wrong move, you could see how this would make people a little more polite towards each other. Sometimes these exchanges were a bit more one-sided. A central ruler of a divided or fractious kingdom might have all of his subordinates send their sons to his court for training, but he definitely wouldn't send them wards in return. Either way, the practice of exchanging wards had an additional benefit. When the traded children returned home, they brought with them detailed knowledge of the other group's customs, beliefs, languages, and cultures, thus enhancing mutual understanding between everyone. Huzzah for implicit threats of violence and infanticide leading to peaceful coexistence. With regards to the colony in Virginia, Smith and Newport left a young English boy named Thomas Savage, and one has to assume these knobheads thought that was a hilarious coincidence, to learn the language and customs. The Powhatan sent a young native man named Namontack to do the same. Namontack ended up leaving for England with Captain Newport and Captain Archer in April of 1608. They returned to Jamestown in September with 70 new colonists and the first two women, one of whom is never mentioned again and is believed to have died soon after her arrival. King James, being completely uninformed and totally out of touch, instructed Newport to present to the chief of the Powhatan people a ceremonial crown meant to symbolize subordination to the English king.
Do you hear that? See, this is all a fabrication. This is all a fabricated. This dude who wrote this story is an alleged liar. We caught him in several lies, making delusions and stories of grandeur about how Pocahontas, he met her and she threw herself down. Nobody ever told that story besides that man. I want y'all to pay attention. Shout out to Smoke Signal for the $4 Cash App donation. We appreciate the support. Shout out to Smoke Signal for the $4 Cash App donation. And also shout out to Rodney Lewis. Shout out to Rodney Lewis for the $5 Cash App donation. We appreciate you brothers for supporting the channel, man. We really appreciate that, man. Real talk. Make sure y'all support the real, man. Shout out to everybody in the building. Y'all don't let Smoke Signal and Rodney be the only people to support Big Aboriginal Power platform today. Appreciate everybody for tapping in. Let's get it.
But Wahan Senkau, who already the king of over 30 tribes that comprised nearly 15,000 people, refused to kneel. See, he wasn't just any chief. He was the most powerful chief on the Atlantic seaboard, with a kingdom that covered 10,000 square miles.
How the fuck is kingdom cover that much goddamn land? 10,000 square miles?
His history of fatal errors, Smith was elected president of the Jamestown Council. And this is where things got ugly. In December, facing a harsh winter and running out of food, the colonists attempted to trade with local native settlements, but the tribes refused to deal with them, as the chief had instructed them not to. Captain Newport again dipped out and returned to England to pick up the second supply, more settlers and goods for the colony. In January, Smith met with the Powhatan tribe at their capital and immediately violated an important Native American custom by refusing to disarm in the presence of the chief. The chief at this point grew tired of Smith's bullshit and decided to kill him in the night. According to Smith and his crew, Pocahontas warned Smith of the danger, saving his life a second time. Whatever the truth is behind his escape, the incident kicked off months of raids and ambushes between the colonizers and the native tribes. The third supply, a 9-ship fleet carrying between 5 and 6,000 colonists, passed.
So now they're talking about the Powhatan, Chief Powhatan, Pocahontas' father. Now we know for a fact that the descriptions in the statue that they depict him in the Smithsonian Institute shows him as a Negro of stocky build, similar to what you see Negroes looking like on the eastern Atlantic coast, man. So we know Pocahontas' father had 500 men behind him that was just as melanated and dark in complexion as he was. And these are the people that obviously ran down on these bitch ass niggas for playing with them. That's how we do.
A bunch of livestock and a year's worth of provisions left England for Jamestown in June of 1609, but was scattered by a hurricane in July. One ship sank during a storm. The ship carrying Captain Newport somehow managed to reach Bermuda with all 150 passengers, but the ship was damaged. The few boats that survived didn't arrive in
Y'all gotta realize John Roth is John Rothschild. His descendants became John Rothschilds, the John Rothschilds later on. So John Roth, I'm gonna give y'all this game. I'm gonna drop it later on in another episode. Y'all never heard it from nobody else except for her. John Roth is John Rothschild. I'm just telling y'all the game, man. Facts.
Jamestown until August, and by a few provisions remained, and only about 300 passengers were still alive. Back in Jamestown, the colonists were raising all kinds of hell, using the terror tactics they once used on their Irish neighbors back in Europe against the native tribes. Deception, ambush, surprise, random slaughter, calculated murder, and the outright destruction of entire villages. The tribes could be just as violent, but they preferred to take prisoners, often sparing the lives of women, children, and chiefs, so this kind of total warfare was new to them. These skirmishes put both the Powhatan and the colonists on edge. About 60 of the colonists attempted to buy an island from the Nasiman tribe, who considered it sacred. Somehow negotiations resulted in the wounding of the chief's son, the killing of 2 English messengers, and the town and crops being burned to the ground. Colonists also desecrated the tombs of their kings for good measure, because apparently that was a good idea in their minds. In the winter of 1609, Smith made his final bonehead move as president of the Jamestown Council when he sent men to...
They snuck in and fucked up the town. Did you hear what they said they did to the king's grave? Not just one king, because it wasn't just one king in that whole Virginia area. There's been a nation that been occupied. Bro, they desecrated all the king's graves in that area, bro. Y'all hear this disrespectful shit? You think these little young rappers be disrespecting niggas at the grave? Listen how these damn colonists beasts did, bro. Not only did they ate you, bro.
Town and crops being burned to the ground. Colonists also desecrated the tombs of their kings for good measure, because apparently that was a good idea in their minds. In the winter of 1609, Smith made his final bonehead move as president of the Jamestown Council when he sent men to buy the fortified town of Powhatan from the chief's older brother, Parahunt. Again, negotiations went so poorly that it led to a bloody confrontation and resulted in the deaths of 60 Englishmen, kicking off the First Anglo-Powhatan War. Smith didn't hang around for the fallout from that disaster. He hopped on a boat back to England after suffering a mysterious gunpowder explosion.
Come on, bro. These bitches over here fully clothed, starving, freezing to death, and they showing Indians butt naked, like as if that's the way they lived in the winter. Boy, these niggas had on hoodies, motherfucking jeans with Timberlands. I'm talking about, when I mean Timberlands, I mean boots, literally coming from out the woods and with the tree on the side. Nigga had a little tree on the side, a little palm, had a little pine cone hanging from the side. Y'all don't know nothing about that. That's ancient tradition. You understand me? That's ancient tradition. Nigga had them fur coats, nigga hoodies, jeans on, nigga with a scully on, or a wrap or something. You understand me? No, niggas went out here butt naked, boy. You dumb?
And before we continue onward to discuss for a moment John Smith's Johnson, we're going to just pause for a moment and thank today's sponsors. The holidays can be hectic, but HelloFresh helps keep things simple with recipes and ingredients that cut out grocery shopping and limit meal prep, so you can spend more of the festive season.
We don't get paid enough to listen to this.
If you
let's get this shit out the way.
100,000.
We don't want to hear nothing about your recipes, bitch, because it ain't no good recipe. Facts.
Now, this is one story that notorious self-promoter John Smith didn't like to tell. It's important to know that back in the 1600s and 1700s, soldiers carried their gunpowder in leather pouches attached to their belts. Apparently, while returning to the colony from an expedition upriver, Smith fell asleep in his boat. Now, according to Smith, while he was sleeping, his powder bag somehow ignited, burning 9 or 10 square inches where his torso met his thighs. Simply to say, he was burned right in the crotch. He jumped
Nigga where his torso meet his thigh. That nigga burnt his nuts off, fam. Let me light my other wood up for this one. Hold on. This nigga said he burnt his nuts off, fam. You know who else ain't got no nuts? Weinstein. Weinstein, bro. That's crazy, man. I don't know about it. I gotta look into that. Sheesh. Nigga fell asleep with gunpowder, probably smoking a cigar. You know what I'm saying? The nigga probably on the backwood of some of that American gas. He ain't used to it. You know what I'm saying? He on the boat. Nigga, the blunt done fell. Between his leg where the gunpowder is, that bitch went off. Like a firework, like a little wick. Burnt this little shit off, boy. It's over with. What the fuck you still trying to pick up Pocahontas for, boy? You then burnt all your little shit off, boy. You ain't got no nuts, huh? You ain't got no nuts, son. I think that's where that phrase come from. I think when them Indians seen this nigga, be like, hey, son, you ain't got no nuts to come fuck with me. Hell no.
torso met his thighs, is simply to say he was burned right in the crotch. He jumped into the river to extinguish the fire, nearly drowning before his companions fished him out. Smith barely survived this injury. He made it back to Jamestown, where after some inexplicable delays, he was loaded onto a boat to England. George Percy took over as president of the colony upon Smith's departure. Percy was one of the original colonists, having arrived with Smith, Captain Archer, and the others. He was from a lesser noble house in England, notable because his father and uncle were both implicated in the gunpowder plot, the Catholic conspiracy to blow up the Parliament with a barrel of gunpowder on November the 5th of 1605. This incident is the source of the tradition from Guy Fawkes' day, the rhyme about remember, remember the 5th of November, and eventually Alan Moore. Next time you see someone posting with that anonymous mustache mask thing from V for Vendetta, now you can also think about the uncle of this dude who just really fucking hated John Smith. Percy thought John was, to quote his own words from the time, an ambitious, unworthy, and vainglorious fellow, attempting to take all men's authorities from them. Percy may have been a little bit cranky because he had not been elected to the council when the colonists first arrived, whereas Smith liked to lord his position of power over everyone. Percy would later publish his own account of the early years of Jamestown for the explicit purpose of countering Smith's version of events, which, of course, painted Smith as some sort of god among men who single-handedly saved the entire colony. But back to Smith and his exploding package. How did that unfortunately located gunpowder ignite? It's quite possible that it was purely an accident. Gunpowder at the time was notoriously uneven and unpredictable in its quality and power, and it was common for armed men to also keep a low-burning match or tinderbox handy near their powder bags to readily light the fuses of their ballistic contraptions. Honestly, guns in general at this time period were frequently far more dangerous to their wielders than to anyone on the other end of them. However, some historians theorize, code for wildly speculate, that this accident may have actually been an assassination attempt. Smith himself named 3 men who wanted to kill him, writing that they, quote, plotted to...
Man, Smith is a goddamn liar, bro. This nigga John Smith, he's a liar. John Smith is a flat out liar, bro. Seriously, man, this shit wild, man.
Have him murdered in his bed. And you heard that right. Smith was the kind of guy who liked to refer to himself in the third person. Now, none of the 3 people Smith accused of wanting him dead were on the boat with him at the time of the...
Oh yeah, that's how you know he was a narcissist liar. Talking about, yeah, you know Smith. Look, my name's Smith. I'm John Smith. But I'll talk to you like, yo, you know that nigga John Smith really the nigga, bro. Yeah, them niggas try to kill John Smith, nigga. John Smith, nigga. And I'm talking about myself. You sick, bro. If you talk like that, you a sick nigga in the head, bro. Yeah, nigga, John Smith really with the shit. John Smith be studying. That's like me saying, yeah, Al Power really be dropping that shit. Yeah, Al Power the great. Al Power the GOAT. Man, listen, one time Al Power dropped some motherfucking heat on the pyramids talking about Mercury. Yeah, that nigga have power to go. That's crazy if a nigga think like that, bro. I ain't gonna lie, you a nutcase. You loony bin. Get that nigga some help. Seriously.
The accident, and neither was Percy, who, as noted, couldn't stand Smith and would have been plausibly motivated to kill him. But the men didn't have to be in a boat, though. They easily could have tasked someone else with the job. Smith himself was convinced that at least two specific members of Jamestown leadership, John Ratcliffe and Gabriel Archer, wanted him dead, and that if they weren't behind the plot to explode gunpowder in his lap, then they were at least trying to kill him afterwards. On the other hand, Smith, as noted by many of his contemporaries, was a narcissistic asshole who treated anyone who didn't fall down and worship him as a mortal enemy, and he spent plenty of time imagining opposition and plots against him as a sort of strange hobby. It isn't as though random death was uncommon or inexplicable in Jamestown at this time. If someone had wanted Smith dead, putting a musket ball in his skull on a deserted forest path would have been easier, or hunting him down with a bow and arrow to show him to the Native Americans. Then again, igniting a bag of gunpowder next to someone's genitals could be a
That's the worst assassination attempt. Boy, getting your balls and your nuts blew off, son. You can't procreate. You know what I'm saying? That's sick. So we know John Smith be lying. So he got delusions of grandeur. And they talking about, yeah, Pocahontas tried to save John Smith. Goddamn, he talking about himself. That nigga sick. Hey man, I want to take this time out to shout out everybody in the building, man. We've been live for almost 30 minutes dealing with this. Shout out to everybody in the building. We got 142 people in here. I will appreciate it respectfully if we can get 120 likes in the building. It means we got at least 23 people that need to hit the like button. All right. That's going to let me know where the haters is. Where the real recognize the real. Talking in third person is crazy. I ain't going to lie to you. Hey, Willie Jones, haters are being born every second. Every second, bro. There's a hater being born, bro. But see, what they don't teach you is you can stop a hater from being a hater and get him to focus his hate on another way to hate. See, it's different fashions of hating. Y'all don't know if y'all know that though. But see, it's born haters that hate that's on some negative shit, like hate to see you succeed, hate to see you doing good, hate to see people liking you. Then it's another set of hating where you got people to be like, man, I hate to see this nigga doing bad. Bro, I hate to see you doing not on top of your game. I hate to not see you rich. You see what I'm saying? It's different type of haters. What type of hater are you, bro? What type of hater are you, bro? Because I hate to see you niggas not on top of your game. I hate to see your niggas not being successful. I hate to see you and my peoples not being in a position and where they exactly want to be in life. See, simple niggas hate to see that you made it to where you wanted to be. Which one are you, man? It's different type of haters.
Particularly cruel form of revenge. As fun as these speculations are, most historians, the boring ones, believe that it's most likely that Smith caused the explosion himself through carelessness or bad luck, and he simply preferred to believe in a world where all the bad things that were happening to him were plots and conspiracies. And while nobody knows the full extent of Smith's injuries, it is known that he never married. So, some implications can be made. The next month, the chief invited the English to visit his new capital at Orapax, a bit far away from Jamestown. When the colonizers arrived, they were ambushed. Boughton warriors killed over 30 of their men. Powhatan women captured their leader, Captain John Ratcliffe, and skinned him alive with mussel shells.
Photography is my outlet. There are things that I don't forget.
Sorry about the damn.
Crazy the world in time.
Might want to see this homosexual.
Only a quarter of the colonists survived. The Powhatan people.
Listen, I'm gonna keep it real. I say shit that might be derogatory and slightly offensive too. And the reason I say shit like that is because I keep shit fucking real. Nigga, I come from the old age where we be real. Where you say, man, screw you, you damn queer. See, nowadays you'll get canceled for some shit like that. You understand me? I'm like, look at that big nose ass Jew. That nigga got a fucking huge nose. Like we get canceled for shit like. See, I say shit like that because I come from the old school. I ain't with these new millennium ass rules. You understand me? Yeah, yeah. So if I say some things throughout my live stream that's slightly offensive or maybe even merely controversial, nigga, that's just how I give it to you. You understand me? Raw and uncut.
Tired of the English strong arming them for help, attacking their people, and stealing their food, so the chief ordered a siege on Jamestown. Powhatan warriors trapped the colonists in their fort and cut off their access to the woods. They killed any colonists or livestock they caught outside the walls of the fort. This began what is historically known as the Starving Time. The Powhatan people then waited for starvation and disease to dissolve their Englishman problem. It wasn't long before weakened colonists started dying of dysentery and typhoid. Trapped, they fed on whatever they could find, including snakes, rats, cats, dogs, horses, and the leather of their shoes. Things were so bad in the fort that a man named Hugh Prize was reported to.
Hold on. That nigga said they cooked the leather on their shoe, fam? Now you gotta be down bad, bad. Whoa, they cooked the leather off their shoe? That's different. That's different. Y'all niggas, we might need to start sending leather over there to them Africans and see if they can make a meal out of that motherfucker.
Powhatan warriors trapped the colonists in their fort and cut off their access to the woods. They killed any colonists or livestock they caught outside the walls of the fort. This began what is historically known as the Starving Time. The Powhatan people then waited for starvation and disease to dissolve their Englishman problem. It wasn't long before weakened colonists started dying of dysentery and typhoid. Trapped, they fed on whatever they could find, including snakes, rats, cats, dogs, horses, and the leather of their shoes. Things were so bad.
How you gonna just slip past the leather of their shoes? She said horse, dogs, cats, rats, dogs, lizards, snakes, nigga. Boy, y'all just some nasty motherfucker. And the only reason they was eating them rats because them motherfuckers was in there in they little nasty area. The snakes looking for the rats. The dog ate the rat. You know what I'm saying? So first it was they hunting dog. Go get him, boy. The motherfuckers start starving about 6 weeks later. Like, come here, boy. And choked that motherfucker out, gutted him up, threw him on the grill for the rest of his homies to eat. Sick people, man. Real sick people.
Including snakes, rats, cats, dogs, horses, and the leather of their shoes. Things were so bad in the fort that a man named Hugh Prize was reported to lose all hope, shouting that if God really existed, he wouldn't allow them to starve. According to George Percy, the president of the Jamestown Council during the Starving Time, Pierce and
that bitch said, God, if it's a God, you wouldn't let me starve. That nigga starved, fam. Okay, God didn't hear you, bitch ass. Let's keep it real. I got to keep it real, man. Y'all niggas be sugarcoating shit. Nigga, these nigga Indians are starving. If it's a God, you'll feed us. That's fucked up, bro. No, I need to make a movie of this shit, bro. Can you imagine the Powhatan starving movie? The movie called Starving Time. That's what it's called. Starving Time. And it's about to have these nigga Indians starve these motherfucking pale skins out. And then in the famous scene where Cuz just screamed, Yo, I need to cut this shit out, boy. I be cracking my goddamn self up sometimes. I swear to God. All right, let's continue, man, for real.
And a, quote, corporal butcher fled Jamestown later that afternoon. They were immediately killed by Powhatan warriors. Soon, there were charges of cannibalism in the colony. George Percy, the president of the Jamestown Council at the time, wrote, quote, "Nothing was spared to maintain life and to do those things which seemed incredible, as to dig up dead corpses out of the graves and to eat them." He wrote that other colonists, quote, licked up the blood which had fallen from their weak fellows. One man said to have killed his pregnant.
Oh, man, this nigga said he licked the blood that came from one of his weak homies that was stabbed and shot up. Oh yeah, I would love to make this movie. Somebody get with me. If y'all know any producers, I got some ideas. I got a whole script for you. I'm talking about history I already wrote out. All we gotta do is just go through the history books, the encyclopedia, nigga. Just get a couple actors and some nice scenes, nigga. That nigga was drinking hepatitis blood. Oh my god, that would be one of the nastiest scenes in the movie. A big pus ball just bust. And that nigga, one of them crowded just crawl over on his knees, starving, weak, and just start latching on like a fucking leech. God damn. That's some sick shit, boy. Oh, that might be one of them. That's like a Saw movie. How gruesome that is. That'll make your motherfucking stomach turn, nigga. Whew, well, that might be a slash history slash horror movie with this shit, nigga. Whew. I ain't gonna lie though. If it's any movie producers out here, get with me, bro. We can go up and make a trip. We can make $1 billion this year, fam. We can make $1 billion this year, man. Let somebody get with me. All producers get with me. We're gonna put together this movie. I know somebody gonna steal my ideas. I hate giving away my ideas. Fuck. I should have kept this one to my goddamn self. Shit. Damn. I know y'all some little thieving motherfuckers. Somebody out there gonna steal it. I'm watching y'all, motherfucker. Y'all better not. I need to get with Tariq Nasheed. You need to make a real movie like this. This nigga make a movie about butt breaking and slaves and shit. Nigga, come make a real movie that's going to empower your motherfucking ass, nigga. Yeah, this nigga doing movies on goddamn Seminole and niggas being butt broken and shit. No, nigga, come do a movie about the Powhatans starving a whole bunch of honkies out in the village where they sucking blood out of the homie's leg and eating dogs and cats and even frying the leather off their shoes. Come on, bro. You know what kind of movie that would be? That would instill so much pride. And then you tell everybody, and then you know what I'm saying? We'll throw some little innuendos in that motherfucker. You understand? The night of eating flesh and drinking blood. I would just call that bitch starving time. You wouldn't even know what to do. You wouldn't even know what it's called. You'll just see a bunch of colonists and that bitch living good. Then the next minute it's turmoil, motherfucker. They getting raided by a bunch of niggas. Big, tall, black, young, short, stocky niggas. All types of niggas. I'm talking about they mean than a motherfucker. They don't want to do no business. Yeah, nigga. This ain't gonna be like the Pocahontas story y'all niggas used to. Seriously, man. Shout out to everybody in the building, man. We got 165 people here, man. Y'all enjoying the build? We ain't even got started yet. I really ain't even got started yet. We're gonna get to the Virginia Indians, man, but I ain't even got started yet. I gotta get into some other shit here in a second. So hey, y'all bear with me, man. I need y'all to, we got time today. I just need y'all to support the channel, man. Let me shout out to Sham and Johnny Clark for the $5 Cash App donation. Shout out to Sham and Johnny Clark for the Cash App donation. I really appreciate all the support. I really do, man. You know what I'm saying? That's why I keep it real with y'all. This channel ain't monetized neither, so hey, we definitely appreciate the support. So make sure y'all support the channel, man. If y'all want to know how to support, Cash App and PayPal information is taken across at the bottom of the screen, man. Make sure y'all support the channel, man. Thumb up the video, man. We about to get to it. We ain't even getting started.
Licked up the blood which had fallen from their pain life, and to do those things which seemed incredible, as to dig up dead corpses out of the graves and to eat them. He wrote that other colonists, quote,
bro, they dug up dead bodies out the grave to eat them. Like, what's more fucked up than that? You gotta be fucked up with it. You be like, damn, I'm starving. Like, yeah, we starving. And niggas like, man, we ate all the dogs. We ain't even got no more shoes. Ate the leather off. We done ate the leather off my shoes, bro. What else we gonna do? And they like, shit, cuz died last week from starving. He didn't make it. What do you mean? Shh. Let's go dig cuz up. I'm pretty sure ain't no maggots done got to him too bad. We can skim that off and get to eat. Come on, bro. You know how sick, you know how damn bad you gotta be? You know how damn bad you gotta be? To be like, yo, my homie died last week, fam. And I'm starving. He still got meat on his bones. Oh, hell no, man. Oh, hell no. Them Indians just have to take me out, man. Come on, man. That's what they said. They
dig up dead corpses out of the grave.
Listen
George
to it.
Percy, the president of the Jamestown Council at
Listen.
the time, wrote, quote, "Nothing was spared to maintain life and to do those things which seemed incredible, as to dig up dead corpses out of the graves and to eat them." He wrote that other colonists, quote, "licked up the blood which had fallen from their weak fellows." One man is said to have killed his pregnant wife and chopped her into pieces before salting and eating her. He was discovered halfway through his meal. According to Percy, the colonists tortured the man.
Oh, the nigga did what? He assaulted her. What he?
One man is said to have killed his pregnant wife and chopped her into pieces before salting and eating her.
That nigga killed his pregnant wife, fam. Chopped her up and salted her. Not assaulted. No, put salt on her. Nigga, I thought he said assaulted her and then ate her. No, that nigga put salt on her. That's fucked up, fam. Salting, not assault. That means preserve, man. That nigga seasoned her ass up, man. And your pregnant baby. Oh my God. See, this is the nature of these people, man. And they done forced us, not us, but these other black leaders who was doing God, the devil's work, got us to start integrating with these sick beasts, man. Come on, man. And these are multiple accounts, man. That nigga said, fuck it. I can't find. We done already dug up all my homies. Baymon. Listen here, Baymon. We done already dug up all my homies. So what I'm about to do is chop you the fuck up. Excuse my French. Put a little salt on you. And then do what I need to do. That's sick, man. That might be some of the sickest shit I've ever seen in my life. Damn.
One man is said to have killed his pregnant wife and chopped her into pieces before salting and eating her. He was discovered halfway through his meal. According to Percy, the colonists tortured the man until he confessed, then they burned him alive. For a long time, historians argued that none of the reports of cannibalism were entirely credible. They argued that Percy might have exaggerated so people wouldn't blame him for the severity of the famine. However, no records speak of the 14-year-old English girl who researchers refer to as Jane, whose remains, uncovered by archaeologists in 2012, lent credibility to historical accounts of postmortem cannibalism. Jane's bones, along with other grisly evidence of the starving time, the bones of dogs, horses, and at least one other human, were found in a trash pit at Jamestown. The cut marks on Jane's skull show that her flesh and brain were removed. There are tentative cuts to the forehead, likely made from a hesitant hand, then 4 strikes to the back of the head. In a briefing with the Smithsonian's National Museum of Natural History, archaeologist Doug Owsley said the skull was...
Bro, you ate a motherfucker's old brain, a 14-year-old kid's old brain, man. She was already dead before y'all went back and ate the brain. So y'all like dry aged brain? Now that's a whole human brain. Dry aged human brain was on your menu, sir. See, I don't even see. I'm not even. This is sick, man. And people got the nerve to tell us that we was a savage here. That's how you can't believe nothing. They don't even teach you this in school. You wouldn't even sit next to no white people if they told you some shit like this. But they tell you all the bullshit about you, and that's why niggas don't want to sit by you. But see, they've been lying to you. They've been lying this whole time, man. We're not the savages. We're the civilized. Been told that we're savages from the uncivilized. Come on, man. This nigga is, look, he like, my ancestors ate all of this stuff. I'm not for sure.
Was split in half, most likely with a lightweight axe or quite possibly a cleaver. A puncture on the left side of Jane's head was used to lever open her skull and remove her brain. We don't know much about Jane because, like most women, she wasn't recorded in historical documents. Nobody knows how she died, but it is believed from nitrogen and isotopes in her bones that indicate she had a high-protein diet and grew up in the south coastal regions of England, that she was either the daughter of a gentleman or a noblewoman's maidservant. Historians think she arrived on one of the ships from the fleet that the hurricane scattered in July of 1609. Forensic evidence suggests
I ain't gonna lie, they only talking about the cannibal part, but I know they done did some sexual things to them dead bodies that they was digging up too. Cause white man is sick like that. No offense, educational purposes. Excuse me. White man's is sick. So we know that they was doing some things to them goats and dogs before they killed them, and to them dead animals, man. Necrophilia. Nigga, necrophilia don't come from us. Nigga, that ain't nothing that a nigga gonna participate in. Everybody you done found doing wicked shit like that all the way up to the 2001 case where that man got caught busting off in him. He was busting in the dead bodies at the funeral homes, at the morgues, ejaculating inside of them. That's what they confirmed. And he goes busting in them. You know what I'm saying? That's sick, man. So I know that if your nigga doing it in 2001, I know his ancestors was doing it in 1601. What are you talking about? You see what I'm saying? Seriously. This real facts.
that Jane was butchered shortly after
Facts
she died.
plus tax, nigga. It's facts plus tax, nigga.
It would have had to be done quickly, Dr. Owsley says, because, quote, brains do not preserve well. According to Bill Kelso, the chief archaeologist of the Jamestown Rediscover Project, quote, we feel the nature of the first cuts on the skull, which were close together, were done to someone who was either unconscious or already dead. Hundreds of cut marks from knives, saws, and cleavers were found on Jane's bones. In addition to the marks of butchery crisscrossing Jane's skull, we also saw marks along her jaw and cuts all over her facial bones. Evidence that her cheeks, tongue, and leg muscles were also removed. According to Owsley, quote, this evidence is absolutely consistent with dismemberment and defleshing of this body. The same flesh taken from animals was considered a delicacy at that time. Chop marks on Jane's shin bone resemble the butcher's marks seen on animal bones, but the rest of the marks don't appear to be made by someone as capable, indicating that more than one person may have participated in her post-mortem dismemberment. Owsley theorizes Jane may have been chosen because she had no living family members to protest her consumption. He also thinks it's possible that Jane's inexperienced butchers could have been women, as they made up the majority of Jamestown's inhabitants. Archaeologists and scientists are almost certain Jane was not the only victim. The discovery of her body, however, is actually extremely notable because it is the very first piece of artifactual evidence of cannibalism by Europeans at any European colony. Forensic scientists scanned Jane's fragmented skull and made a three-dimensional replica of her reconstructed face, which we've linked in our notes. Only 60 of the 240 remaining colonists are
Damn. They done ate this little chick skull up, starved her to death.
face, which we've linked in our notes.
Fuck
Only
that.
60 of the 240 remaining colonists survived into the spring of 1610. Among the dead was an important member of Jamestown leadership, Captain Gabriel Archer. In the early days of the colony, Archer had taken part in a major inland expedition to explore the Chesapeake Bay area and to parley with the Powhatan and other local tribes. He held a leadership position in Jamestown since the construction of the James Fort in 1607 and was a vocal critic of the many missteps of John Smith, even going so far as calling for Smith's execution when his dealings with the Powhatan got two of the men who came with him killed. Archer's interment in the chapel is a testament to the colonists' high regard for him. Not only was he given a proper burial during a time when food was scarce and people were desperate, he was buried with a ceremonial leading staff and a small silver reliquary containing a lead ampulla, which is usually used for carrying holy water, oil, or blood. This ampulla contained a viscous fluid, and it also held several bone fragments that are thought to be human. Archer's death left the surviving settlers
Like, well, hold on, we gotta run this back. She ain't just about to just be like, hold on, this little thing holds water, oil, holy water, and blood. Like, which one is it? Because holy water is different than oil. Oil is different than blood, man. Which if I got some olive oil, you was getting freaky with them little dead things.
a time when food was scarce and people were desperate, he was buried with a ceremonial leading staff and a small silver reliquary containing a lead ampulla, which is usually used for carrying holy water, oil, or blood. This ampulla contained a viscous fluid, and it also held several bone fragments that are thought to be human. Archer's death left the surviving settlers essentially leaderless. When an English ship finally arrived at Jamestown in May of 1610, they found the colony on the brink of collapse. To make matters worse, the ship was supposed to be bringing supplies to the colonists, but a hurricane had blown it off course and wrecked it. The crew consumed most of the supplies while they repaired the ship. They arrived at Jamestown with hardly any food for the starving settlers, and finding the town in chaos, decided to abandon it and sail to Newfoundland. Just as they were about to set sail, another ship arrived in the Jamestown port, and this one with the desperately needed supplies. The colony was saved, but the Powhatan were doomed.
Sorry about the ads, guys. Sorry about the ads. Hey, make sure you hit that like button out there too, man. Hit that
On board
like
the ship was Jamestown's new governor, Thomas West, 3rd Baron de la Warr, who, side note, is the origin of the name Delaware. De la Warr placed Percy as the head of the town council and accused the surviving Jamestown residents of laziness, saying they only had themselves to blame for the starving time. He imposed stricter rules for life in the colony, bordering on the fascist. His rules were so strict that even people in the 1600s were taken aback by them. De la Warr handed out harsh punishments for sloth and theft. For example, he had an alleged food thief tied to a tree until he starved to death. Having established himself as a complete monster dictator, De la Warr then set out to destroy the surrounding Native American tribes using the scorched earth tactic. He ordered raiding parties to burn native villages, crops, and provisions, stealing what they could and destroying the rest. Historians consider this military-style campaign to be the first full war between England and the Native Americans. The Native Americans kept the colonists surrounded and off balance for years, but with the influx of men and guns and De la Warr's tactics of extreme brutality, the long-simmering conflict turned sharply against the tribes. Mind you, most of the other colonists were on board with this program of horrifying slaughter. One would argue that few who had survived the starving time might at least understand the motives, given what they had witnessed, and probably done. But a great deal of the fervor was just standard issue xenophobia and religious extremism. De la Warr announced that he would take all the Native American children and forcibly indoctrinate them into Christianity. Percy himself, now subordinate to Delaware, wrote later of an incident in which a group of Paspahegh warriors attacked the blockhouse that guarded the entrance to the peninsula where Jamestown was situated. In the counterattack, Percy, along with 2 others, led a team of soldiers by boat to launch an assault of the village, killing 15 or 16 people and burning the buildings. Percy attempted to capture and spare the queen and the tribe's children, but wrote that his men were angry and restless that he had not killed them like the men and other women, so, waffling under pressure, he gave in. The men threw the children over the side of the boat and, quote, shot their brains in the water. News of this and other massacres spread up and down the coast among the Native American communities, resulting in a complete breakdown between local.
Yeah, Native Americans. Look at these motherfuckers. These things look like Hadra. You don't know if it's a dude, a girl, or nothing. These things was doing something strange for them European colonists, man. Seriously. This how you get these androgynous looking Native American, or this two-spirit Native American, where it was a whole tribe of transvestites. And they was Native American, not American Indian nor Aborigine. They was these people right here. And these people, I ain't got no people like this in my family. Look like, shape, form, or fashion. These things are trannies in the 1600s, man. Pathetic. Cross-dressers. Queers. These are two-spirit Native Americans. These are the sickest damn things that ever roam in this planet, besides the motherfucking pale skin that we've been showing you all day. It's some sick shit, bro. Real talk. I'm giving y'all the real uncut version of it.
On the coast among the native Americans, resulting in a complete breakdown in relations between local tribes and the colonizing Europeans. However, they also had learned about the power of European cannons and ships, so when the Pilgrims landed at Plymouth Rock, the Wampanoag were wary of new arrivals but also interested in convincing them to take out some rival tribes with their guns. They attempted to placate the colonists with gifts and offered their agricultural wisdom, which the colonists, of course, accepted as their just and rightful due. When the first harvest rolled around, the Wampanoag were still nervously monitoring the colony. The Pilgrims, using the knowledge and resources gained from them, had a successful growing season. They decided to throw themselves a feast to celebrate, during which they got riotously drunk and started firing their guns in the air. Because apparently, the uniquely American fixation with firearms goes back all the way. Hearing the gunfire, the Wampanoag panicked and sent the equivalent of a special forces unit to the Plymouth colony, assuming that the moment they'd feared had arrived, and the colonists were about to go berserk and murder them. Imagine their relief when it turned out to be just a bunch of drunk assholes blowing off some steam. They retreated, returning later with some nice fresh venison, thus beginning the first extremely awkward and tense Thanksgiving conversation between people who...
what they said. Now, let's run that back. Listen to what she said.
Back all the way. Hearing the gunfire, the Wampanoag panicked and sent the equivalent of a special forces unit to
the Wampanoag, which is part of the Algonquin. They sent the motherfucking military branch, and not these motherfuckers acting on horses in the motherfucking 1800s during the World's Fair. Not this video right here. This is from a World's Fair, and I'll break this video down later. All this is a fake setup from the World's Fair. This is all acting fake shit. They ain't look like this, nigga. I'm talking about a real military on some Marine shit. On some Marine shit back in the day. So don't picture this shit. Picture some niggas like the Olmec Hamlets. You understand me? Because I'm telling you, the Olmecs is the Powhatan, and the Powhatans was in Delaware, Philadelphia. They signed the Declaration. All that. I'm telling you that. That's the proof. We're gonna get to that in a second. So don't picture none of this bullshit. Picture niggas like Olmec costumes. Not costumes. I didn't mean to say that. Attire. You know what I'm saying? With helmets and shit on. Real Marines, nigga. Because you know that the America's military tactics from the Navy, from the Marines, from the Army, they all use the tactics from Aboriginal tribes here. One's from West Virginia, you know what I'm saying? Chief Cornstarch, all these. Going all the way to King Tammany, which is in the Delaware area that we're talking about. King Tammany, Chief Tammany. Emperor Tammany. So listen, don't picture this bullshit Native American ass theme that you see on this video right now. This is from a World's Fair. If you see in videos, you know it's after the 1800s, and after the 1800s, we can directly put these people in the World's Fair. This is all theatrical. This is cosplay.
The Plymouth colony, assuming that the moment they'd feared had arrived and the colonists were about to go berserk and murder them. Imagine their relief when it turned out to be just a bunch of drunk assholes blowing off some steam. They retreated, returning later with some nice fresh venison, thus beginning the first extremely awkward and tense Thanksgiving conversation between people who honestly kind of hate each other, a tradition that is held present to this day. And that's the initial tale of Jamestown. Admittedly, not a direct route to Thanksgiving, but certainly something to think about as you prep your stuffing and consider potential turkey alternatives. I can't recommend eating your fellow colonists myself, but, needs must be taken care of when the devil drives. Enjoy.
Yeah, nigga. Don't go eat no Thanksgiving with no hillbilly. You know what you gonna get? Some leather. Roasted leather. White people can't cook, bro, because they just dig up anybody. They'll dig up anybody, bro. I promise you. That's real facts. Shout out to everybody in the building, man. We're not done. We're gonna get into some history of the West Virginians, man. I'm gonna play one of the this video from one of the good teachers that's been around in the Aboriginal community. So we're gonna play a little bit of his video. Let's get it.
Say to the rolling hill.
Hold on, let's get to it, man. Shout out to everybody in the building too, by the way.
Touching this one. And I'm not sure what the title of this video going to be, but it's going to be about Powhatan Indians or so-called Indians or Powhatan Aborigines of Virginia. And I'm just going to be reading through a couple of different websites that I got. This is the Historical Jamestown organization, and this is pretty much this is a pretty good article right here. So I'm gonna try to read from two articles. Like I said, I've been having problems with my computer, and just noticed too, I cannot pronounce some of these words, some of the more the Indian words. So please bear with me. All right. So let's do this. All right. So as we know, we know Powhatan was the father of Pocahontas, and we know that Captain James Smith, he encountered and he was actually captured by Powhatan. Somehow he was able to negotiate his way out or whatever though. But I'm gonna read it. All right, so just bear with me. All right, so I'm gonna start from right here. All right, so I can't pronounce this word, but I'm gonna tell you the truth. This looked like a Hebrew word right here. All right, so all my people who deal with Hebrew, who watch this video, check and see. This is a Hebrew word right here. I'm more than 100% that this gotta be like a Hebrew word. But let's get with it. It's commonly known as Chief Powhatan. The Powhatan people was the supreme ruler of the indigenous tribe of Chesapeake Bay region in 1607. At its height, his realm, known as I can't pronounce that word either, extended across 10,000 miles. So 10,000 miles is pretty far. 10,000 miles is pretty far, y'all. So I'm gonna check and see how far 10,000 miles from Virginia is. But say from the banks of Jamestown River north to the Potomac River, and from the Atlantic Ocean west, to the rolling hills of the Piedmont. The tribes in this region were linked by a common language, Eastern Algonquin. A young, hear that word again, inherited ruler over 6 communities, but expanded his rule to more than 30 groups that included nearly 15,000 people. He was the Mama Natawak. The Mama Natawak. That's a deep word, y'all. All right. I'm going to be using that word. I like that. The Mama Natawak is the chiefs of chiefs. But his power and authority varied from one part of I can't pronounce. But I'm gonna try to. Nakamaka. And this looked like another Hebrew name, Maka. When you look at the end right here, this looked like
Can y'all hear loud and clear? Seems like my shit fucking up on my end. Drop a one or a fire emoji in the chat if y'all can hear. I want to see if y'all can hear. I want to see if y'all can hear. Drop a fire emoji in the chat. Let me know.
For the Aborigines. All right. So look. So that's that's what I found. I also found some other information, but I'm gonna go into some other things, right? So look, this is what they telling you.
Now, I've been using Grammarly for years. Now, Grammarly is free and easy to use. It not
Sorry
only
about
check your
that.
grammar, but also
This is what they telling you what power high look like. Bear with me, my computer went a little slow. I got a lot of things open on my computer. All right, so boom. So here we go. So this is what they saying power high look like. And also remember this too, right? Remember, Captain. We don't know. We know that Captain John Smith was killed when he went back to Europe, according to what they said, because he was practicing cannibalism, and also he was practicing cannibalism, and he also ate his wife or whatever. So we don't know if that led. Once you get to the point of
John Smith was definitely practicing cannibalism, and I didn't. He probably did eat his wife. I'm agreeing with that.
cannibalism, psychosis already been set in, practicing cannibalism, and also he was practicing cannibalism, and he also ate his wife or whatever. So we don't know if that led. Once you get to the point of cannibalism, that's psychosis already been set in. So you're already going at that point in time. All right. So um, let me see. Let me just check a few images of what they say Power Hudson look like. So they saying that this is Power Hudson. All right. This is Power Hudson right here. All right. This is their images of what they say he looked like. All right. So this is what they saying Power Hudson look like. All right. So these are some other images in which this is what they saying. All right. This is the Disney from one of the Disney movies. I guess that's Chief Power Hudson from the Disney movies. All right. Remember, just one of the images of what I thought Power Hudson. See, he got the chains around his neck. He got the so-called feather crown on, which we seen to people in Europe. All right. So boom. All right. So let me see. Let me click on this real quick. See what this is. So as you see right here, right? Look. Now check this out, people. Look. In a lot of these situations, the cover up is worse than the crime. All right. And I'm gonna show y'all some real shit right here. And I want y'all to please bear with me. All right. Now you see they making this is John Smith. We don't know if it's Power Hudson, but I'm assuming that this is the East Coast. I'm assuming that he didn't go to the West Coast, because the West Coast would have been too fucking far. So I'm assuming that he traveled all up and down the East Coast, right? All up and down the East Coast and all up and down the southeast and all in that area where Virginia at, all up and down the North Coast. All right. I mean the East Coast, sorry. So this is the images of what they say the Indians look like, right? All right. So, this is what they say the Indians look like, right? Let me see this. It's what they say the Indians look like. Boom. All right. So now let's really deal with this shit. Bear with me, yo. All right. So this is an image in which I got from one of the brothers that's on the Facebook group, right? He was at the Virginia Historical Society, and this is what people saying who really Power Hudson was. Now I'm gonna tell you like this, right? Now you got a lot of people who come on my page and say we are fucking hallucinating about black people was the indigenous or the aborigines of this land. Let's just put it like this: the first contact of all the so-called people that they found here was black people. And I'm putting it, I'm gonna be more than 95% with that. I find it very rarely that they found any of this so-called Mongoloid Native Americans on the East Coast. I find that listen, I'm not going for. I only believe that they found the people in the South. Where this is when you start getting John Forbes or whatever his name is. He started going further out, like in the California regions, or like the South, more like the West, like the Northwest. He started finding because them people came down from Siberia. So check this out. Let me just show you this video right here. It's short. All right. So this is, remember, this is at the Virginia Historical Society, all right? So this is what they say Powhatan look like, right? All right, so now look, I want y'all to see, just take a look at what he got on. He got the grass skirt on. He got chains around his neck, 2 chains. Look, he got two chains around his neck. Check that out, 2 chains around his neck. Now look, check this out, y'all. Now look.
And see, I go deeper into the science. See, you gotta understand that when they seen these people coming in doing that right before that November setting, that October month, around early September, they was getting ready, and they was probably seeing these people dressed like this entire with the grass skirts on, if you will, the feather crown, because they was going through a spiritual ceremony called the I believe it's the winter equinox or the fall equinox. Harvest time. That's what they was getting ready for. So and you see that mimic. As a matter of fact, my thumbnail shows you particular Powhatans in the area. You understand me? They show you in the area, and you see that particular symbol on their back. You see the symbol that's on their back. So yeah, we're gonna continue this, man. Shout out to A1 for dropping this heat.
Look at the back of his head. Now look, you see that? All right, so check that out. That's a Negro. Now, my thing is this, right? You know what? Hold up, let me see something real quick. This is my thing. Let me see something. This is my thing. This is what they tell us the so-called Native Americans look like, right? These are the many different Native Americans, right? So why is
listen, man? These Native American shit, man, that's some bullshit. And I'm gonna play another video real quick, getting into the whole this whole Native American shit, this whole out of Africa shit, this whole we come from monkey shit is dead, y'all. That we're gonna put that shit to rest. Let me get into this next video. Shout out to A1 for dropping some of that heat real quick. I need everybody in the building to drop a fire emoji, man. This video ain't long. I'm gonna drop the link after this video. So make sure y'all hit that like button, thumb up the video, support the channel, man. Support the channel. Let's get.
We're not dealing with a theory in any sense in which, say, a physicist would recognize the theory. We're dealing with a collection of anecdotes, a certain point of view, a series of hunches. I would say that the most outstanding, the salient points are, first of all, the fossil record. Which is simply mystifying. We can't make much sense of the fossil record. It does not sustain any kind of Darwinian prediction that can be intelligently derived from Darwinian theory, and it doesn't seem to sustain anything else as far as I can see. It's a perfectly mystifying record. That's one obvious point. I'm not talking just about the Cambrian explosion. I'm talking about everything that doesn't make a whole lot of sense in the fossil record. Second point, we have never been able in any way theoretically to examine the central Darwinian claim that natural selection and random variation can account for a great deal of complexity. If you look at the history of physics, for example, what did Newton do in the 17th century? He said, well, the planets are being attracted to the sun by a force. It's not any kind of force. It's a inverse square force. And then he went and showed that if you make that assumption, the result will be an orbit that conforms exactly to the observed orbit, say, of the Earth or of Mars. It will be a conic section. And then he proved the converse, that if it's a conic section, the planets must be attracted to a central source by an inverse square law. There is nothing like that in biology, in Darwinian theory. A kind of a canonical demonstration that this mechanism, random variation, natural selection, is adequate to the generation of this level of complexity. From the point of view of the serious sciences, without that kind of a demonstration, one is completely adrift. You have no idea whether the mechanism is adequate for its intended purposes. This is the second point. Third evidential piece of the puzzle. Look, you turn to the serious sciences, you turn to general relativity or quantum mechanics. I can program a computer with the equations of general relativity or with the equations of quantum mechanics, and I can say, all right, what are the consequences? I can actually see the consequences emerge in a simulation. We can't do any of this in biology. And that should prompt any reasonable person to ask, why not? If this is such a simple mechanism, which can easily be programmed on a computer, how come we can't set up a computer and create something of biological-like complexity? How come we cannot see the unfolding of an evolutionary process the way we can see the unfolding of an evolutionary process in physics? This is a very serious question. I've looked at all the genetic algorithms. I'm trying to write a genetic algorithm myself. And the sheer fact is, without a tremendous amount of very special manipulation and ad hoc constraints, the computer is not going to generate anything realistic if it uses Darwinian mechanisms. And it will generate something realistic only if it doesn't use Darwinian mechanisms. This is an important point. 50 years after the computer revolution began, we have a splendid tool for assessing the intelligibility and viability of Darwinian theory. And everything that we know, I think this is the uniform experience of anyone working in genetic algorithms, indicates these mechanisms will not work. They will not work for their intended purposes. And finally, there's the utter absence of laboratory evidence. I mean, random variation, natural selection, we should be able to start manipulating organisms. When we look at dogs, no matter how far back we go, it's dogs. When we look at bacteria, no matter what we do, they stay bugs. They don't change in their fundamental nature. There seems to be some sort of an inherent species limitation, and we have no good explanation for this in terms of Darwinian theory. We should have far more flexibility, far more plasticity under laboratory conditions than we actually do if Darwinian theory or anything like that were correct. What we see in nature, what we see in the laboratory, is very highly bounded variation, cyclic variation, as, for example, finch beaks in the Galapagos Island. That's about all we see. Small variations. Why is that if Darwinian theory is correct? These are evidentiary points that I think need to be stressed, need to be examined openly, honestly. And they never are, of course. Never are.
Yeah, man. All you Darwin monkey loving ass niggas who think we come from monkeys, that shit over with. That shit over with. They can't replicate that shit in no laboratory. They don't have the science to perform biology. Natural selection, random selection cannot be observed, nor mimicked, nor demonstrated, to even be refuted or repent, to even have a thesis to formulate a hypothesis. It's only a continuing form of regurgitation from one person's alluding to just a random story. It's not even a theory. The link is in the chat. Oh, hold on. Let me put the link in the chat. I think I put the wrong link in there too, by the way. That's the wrong link, y'all. Don't hit that one. Don't hit that one with the X on it, on the end. Don't hit the first link. Hit the second link, y'all. Shout out to everybody in the building too, by the way. Yeah, monkey man theory. I want all the smoke too. Anybody in the building that, yeah, we want all the smoke. Olmec culture was found theory. I'm gonna do a part 2 to this tomorrow. Cause I let this thing stretch out. We'll get into that. We'll get into that later on, man. And I'm gonna prove to you that Olmec signed the declaration. We'll get into that in another bill too. So I need y'all to stay tuned. We're gonna do that. Part 2 to this tomorrow. I don't know. I might give y'all niggas a sneak peek real quick. You know what I'm saying? I might give y'all niggas a sneak peek here in a minute, but we'll see. Shout out to everybody in the building. The link is out there, man. Don't be scared to hit the link. Don't be scared to hit the linky. I'm gonna give y'all 60 seconds to hit the link, man.
See, my life has been in motion. I'm a little windy. I'm not giving up yet. If you with me, time to place up your bet. Ain't no turning back, got niggas who ran. When we caught his ass, got caught in that jam. Yeah, you know who I am. Yeah, you know who I am. I can feel it coming. I can feel it coming. It's that feeling in your stomach, you can feel it coming. It's that feeling in your stomach, you can feel it coming. Yeah, you can feel it coming. Fake love, snake you in your face, love. That snake you in your face, love. I told my brothers we gon' make it, that's how God wrote it. And the snake gon' show his face, cause that's how God wrote it. Too much fake love, that snake you in your face, love. Your face, love. That snake you in your face, love. I told my brothers we gon' make it, that's how God wrote it. And the snake gon' show his face, cause that's how God wrote it. Too much fake love, that snake you in your face, love. Your face, love. That snake you in your face, love. I told my brothers we gon' make it, that's how God wrote it. And the snake gon' show his face, cause that's how God wrote it.
Yeah, man. Y'all scared to hit that link, man. I seen niggas in the chat earlier. I seen Wild Knots, a couple Pan Boo Boos. Come on, man. Stop playing them games, man. I might give y'all a little part 3 to some shit. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to everybody in the building, man. Did y'all enjoy the live stream? Alright, man. I'm gonna play a little part 2 to some shit, man. Let me pull it up right quick. Let me pull this up real quick. I got some heat for y'all. Let me pull up some heat for y'all one time for the one time. Drop a fire emoji in the chat if y'all want to see a little part 2 to some shit that I already got lined up for y'all, man. Y'all let me know if y'all want to see it, man. Guess we ain't got no Pan Boo Boos in this motherfucker. We ain't got no. Alright, man. I'm gonna give y'all a little clip. I'll give y'all a little clip. Let me get to it, man. I'm gonna give y'all part 2, man. There's another brother I respect his research, and after cross-referencing and researching, he came with some heat. Let's get to it, man. Hold on, let me get this on the screen. Let me screenshot. I forgot I wasn't even screenshot no more. Hey, man, shout out to everybody in the building, man. I think we had a few people to support the channel too. I want to shout out everybody that supported the channel. Shout out to Michael Lewis for the for the PayPal donation, man. We appreciate that, Michael. Shout out to Michael Lewis. Shout out to Michael Lewis. Shout out to Tay Bay too, man. Shout out to Tay Bay for the Cash App donation. And shout out to the brother Sheik for the Cash App donation. She sent the cash out down there. She said for the upliftment of fallen humanity. Absolutely, man. And to be honest, man, humanity has been lost once we lost our throne in the positions to operate our own govern.
You don't gotta like what I'm saying. I'm gonna throw you up on the Summer Jam screen. Boom! Kim Folk, you gave me a plea deal with an agreement that said to pay money I had already paid. Oh! Pay money you already paid. See, this is why Aboriginal people lost. Because you had Negroes like this, Negroes, certified Negroes. You are now officially a coon in my eyes, bro, and it can never be changed. All the honor people can love you all they want to. You are a coon in my eyes. Let me tell you why. Because I could go and get Karen to come up here and she'll show the cash app for $10. Are you trying to mock her for taking her $1,500? We had a court case on this stuff. But this is instructional because it's going to show you where the problem is. The problem is always in house. It's always in house. We already know who the enemy is. We already know what the enemy does. We already know the enemy's nature. We already know the tricks and lies and deception. But it's the nigga or the girl or the sister or the said brother who's supposed to be right next to you helping you solve problems. No, you did not pay that judgment, brother. That's a fact on my children's life. You did not pay the girl back. You agreed to pay the girl back. You took her money. You did not do the service. Then you have witnesses who are your own brothers, who are not just me, who sat on a panel for weeks and weeks, months on the case. This is an Aboriginal warrant, the 4th of July. And we are sitting here talking about the fall of Aboriginal people, and we are witnessing how it happens. You get a certified Negro who comes up into something and has the audacity to think that they can do what the fuck that they want to do. Well, you better stay hidden. Don't come out to no public events where we at, because we got several ass whoopings for you, and you can't call the white man because you're already on record in being in our jurisdiction. So I guarantee you, if you're a real man, you will show up where all the other men are, all the brothers who you said are full of shit, who sat on that drill society weeks and weeks, hours out of their time, hours out of my time, sitting there interviewing, taking depositions, doing affidavits. This is all our energy we are putting towards trying to help a situation. Then we had the humility to offer you a deal to say, let's work together, family. Let's solve the problem together, family. But your weird, crazy ass absolutely won't come and work together like a family. Right? And so, look, it's going to be all kind of people on this show tonight. Somebody might say, Ali, I don't like your character. The difference between me and other people is if we have a contract and we have been interacting, I'm going to answer to mine. That's it. That's the difference. That is the difference. So look, yeah, well, you about to get kicked out of here. You was just my warm up, so don't even think you're going to be sitting in my chat, just going crazy. You about to get your ass kicked out real quick. We don't even want y'all energy in here. I already know who New Age is. You know I know who you are. Yeah. Bye, Ken. Nice talking to you, brother. All right, so let's jump into our subject because we have no time for that. That's on the Drill Society. I have nothing to do with that, and they can handle all of that. I do my job, and that is all I can do. And they can throw it over back at the Drill Society, and then he can go talk to them. He has rights, He can file whatever he needs to file with them, and I can't stop them from making whatever decision that they make. My job is to protect the people, and in the executive branch, that's what I'm gonna do. So let's go. All right. Tonight's discussion is on the significance of July the 4th. All right. And we're talking to a people who probably just celebrated Juneteenth a few weeks ago. We did a lecture on that. The purpose of this communication is to educate you. History is based on construction. That's it. Reconstructions come because people have intentionally destroyed other people's heritage. That's it. And so our job is to come back and have an honest assessment and reconstruction. And so while we're sitting here having all of these fantasy ideas about how Europeans came to power on this land, they're not having fantasy conversations about it. They know how. They're very aware. And this is no shade on them. Congratulations on your victories in wars and battles that you won. But there's always another war brewing when you have tipped the scales of justice. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said 100% dissatisfaction will bring about a 100% change. And this is where we are. We are now at 100% dissatisfaction. And this is why you're seeing the changes that you are seeing. And so what does July the 4th? July the 4th, tomorrow, they're going to be celebrating the independence of the United States of America. How did the United States of America get independent? Is this old slave story that they keep ramping up to you the actual story? I don't think you're going to fall for that anymore. Some of you already read the books. You got the wisdom. You got the knowledge. You already know what's going on. Others of you are about to learn something that you never, ever heard in your life. And so let us begin. All right. I'm about to share the information that I have come up with to help you understand your past. Now, I want you to look at this. This is an offering of chocolate. This is from the Bonampak Steles in Mexico. As you can see, there are people here. There's writing here. There's dress here, cloth, materials. There's food that has been converted into a treat, a delicacy, chocolate. Nestle, Snickers, Kit Kat. Shall I go on? These companies have made billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars, and there's no cacao or cocoa plants in Europe. These recipes are indigenous. And now these companies are making lots and lots of energy in the form of money. And so if there was no chocolate in Europe, they came here, they learned, then they invaded, then they capitalized. See how this works? Something is yours. You forget how to protect it. You lose it. Others get it. Then you're buying it from them. We need to have a damn chocolate strike just because of this photo and what it means. This is a hell of a thing to consider. And we can go on and on and on. Tobacco. We can go on and on and on. And so I'm doing this lecture because I want you to know that your history has been defeated. But then after defeat is rising up again. Not for you to go back and try to be Mayan or Olmec in the sense of wearing the clothes that they wore all the way, even writing the writings that they wrote all the way. It's not how you solve the problem. How you solve the problem is you learn the lesson. What is the lesson? What are you supposed to learn? How were we defeated? When were we defeated? Where were we defeated? Who knows this? Why aren't we being educated about this? For the Afrocentric people who lean hard on genetics, autosomal, haplogroup, Y chromosome, and mitochondrial DNA, the testings, your reign is over. It's over. By the time we are done with our demonstration through action, we'll be showing you where you went wrong, how you went wrong. We see it over and over and over and over again. Our brother Jalen in Ohio, just the other day, running from the cops. Who knows why? I don't know if he had a warrant. He hops out of the vehicle. Excuse me. The day before, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, he eludes the police and gets away. The next day, they are chasing him again. He eludes them, jumps out of the car, is running. 8 officers fired approximately 90 rounds. Hit him approximately 60 times. Eight officers. They use 9mm. That's 17 bullets in a clip. Yeah, that's a lot of bullets. That's a lot of bullets. But look, when's the last time you saw a Jewish person shot at 90 times? Or a white person? He was eluding. I'm pretty sure there are white people who elude. What's the stats? Look at them smiling. Look at them. Why was that cool for them to commit this act? It was cool for them to commit this act because they could. Let's stop trying to shop around for understanding that which is not even needed to be understood. They did it because they could. They do it now because they can. And they will continue to do it until you stop them. But you can't stop them ignorant. You can't stop them afraid. You can't stop them disorganized. You can't stop them without a plan. So those 8 officers might as well take a selfie around Jalen. They shot at him 90 times. No return fire. No gun on him. Allegedly a gun in the car that he fled from. You see, a lot of new people believe that racism is a myth. That's what you believe. And you say there is no race. Race was something invented. It's modern. Ancient people had no concept of race. That's ridiculous. You don't read ancient texts. Go read the Moorish text and see was there not a differentiation based on phenotype. I've covered this already. And so when we start our journey, and we start looking at people, circumstances, places, actions, and we wonder.
Hey, I need everybody to hit that like button. I see my big brother Hawk Yos in the building. Shout out to my brother Lil Yos. Skittles Conway in the building. Shout out to Skittles Conway. Shout out to Lady Legs for the Cash App donation. Shout out to Lady Legs. We appreciate that, Lady Legs. Shout out to Lady Legs. We appreciate the Cash App donation system. Make sure y'all support the channel, man. Don't let Lady Legs be the only one to support the channel, y'all. Make sure y'all thumb up the brother. I got my brother TM in the back. I see you back there, big bro. I'm going to let you in just a second. This is just a preview from what we got cooking up tomorrow. I'm just leading it up to it. So y'all can have an understanding. We're going to do a part 2 of this tomorrow.
What is actually happening here? We voted this young man in the office, didn't we? I didn't. I did not vote for Obama.
Certified Sancho, what up, man? It's a Tennessee thing, man. You know how we do, bro.
He is being sworn in by the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. Under a man whose name is Benjamin Latrobe. Latrobe. Some of these people did not exist, never existed, and they are code. The word Latrobe means the triangle. I'm not about to do you like these conscious woke folks, so don't get hyped up. I'm not about the code break in that way. Just going to give you some signs first so you can pay attention. The triangle. Don't you see a triangle? Let me give you a better view. So you can see what's being communicated here. Not to you, to the people who will be looking for these communications. What is this? This is the constellation that Benjamin Banneker used for the placement of the design of Washington, D.C., the White House, the placement, Congress, the placement, and the Washington Monument, the placement. The Washington Monument, the White House, the House of the Masons, and Congress, the law. Look back at that again. The triangle. They're all speaking to one another, and they're saying things, and we don't know what they're saying. What is the angle measurement? Excuse me, I got that wrong, so let me fix that. 33 degrees. The angle, the celestial angle is 33 degrees. This is what's here. 33. Rosicrucian, Andrew Ellicott, Master Mason, Prince Hall, aka Benjamin Banneker, who's given the design. Now, as we keep perusing this information without being biased and skipping past the code, because the code is just the code. Like, why is Washington in all his original portraits with this man who wearing turbans? He's always with a man. This is the original 1780 portrait of John Trumbull. Look in the background. You see. Let's go back. Let's go back. Let's go to another portrait. 1816, Emmanuel Gottlieb, Lutz. See that guy right there? That's George Washington. Who's that? Close up. Who's that? Why? Why do you keep showing us this? Let's do it again. Here it goes again. Right here. Brother, in the red. Written depictions. Why? Here it is right here. Go to Philadelphia. Freedom is a light for which many men have died in darkness. Died in darkness, meaning covered. So when I go back and I look at this, you're buried. Hiram, hit over the head. Masonic Lord, the master builder, Hiram Abiff, struck over the head by 3 ruffians, Freemasons, Rosicrucians in the building. Y'all might want, y'all seat's gonna get hot in a minute. But look, these are all your heroes. George Washington and all these other people. Thomas Jefferson. Look what he said. The blacks, whether originally a distinct race or made distinct by time and circumstances, are inferior to the whites in endowments of both body and mind. Meanwhile, he was having sex with a 12-year-old black woman to continue his lineage. Weird. So let us look at this, because we're going to go through this thoroughly. You can't look at this picture and not scratch your head. This is Banampec, Mexico. You can't look at it and not scratch your head. Because now, when we use stuff like this and we start talking, I remember Ankh from the Amin Ra Squad saying the eyeball test, no, you can't be using the eyeball test. Oh, really? Phenotype. You can't use phenotype tests? What do phenotype tests tell us? They tell us about genotype, for those who know. And they're all over the place. They're all over the place. Look at the hair. I'm going to go back over these. Look at the hair. John Carter Brown Archives on Native Americans. The Swedish depiction of the Delaware, also called the Nanticoke. Look at the hair. That's kinky hair. That's brown skin. We call that eumelanin. We call this hair kink, literally in genetic studies too. And there are genes that make this hair look like this. There are genes that make these Virginia Indians have this eumelanin. There are genes that are the reason why these Mexican artists painted these people with brown to black skin in Chichen Itza. There's a reason these artists painted these Aboriginals in Banampec, Mexico, to look like this. What is the reason? Why do they look like this? Why were they depicted like this? Why do they have locks? What kind of hair does that?
I'm going to pause the video right here, man. Y'all going to want to stay tuned to part 2 to this, man. There's going to be some heat. I ain't going to lie. This is going to be one of the ones. I'm going to show you that Olmecs was in North America. The Powhatans, the Delaware, that's Olmec. The niggas who signed the declarations, Olmec, or what we call Olmec culture. I'm saying all these people are the same people connected and just in different locations generally, under this one government system that we call Atlantis or the Amaru. The link is in the chat, man. I got my brother TM in the building. What's up, TM? TM. Hey, peace and blessings.
Hi, Mr. Aboriginal.
Hey, how you doing?
Um, I'm T Turner, and I just wanted to say hi. And I like your show.
Oh, I appreciate you, T Turner. Appreciate you for coming through.
Okay, bye.
Thank you. Take it easy. Shout out to T Turner for coming through. We appreciate that, man. We like to hear the new people coming through the chat. No people be kind of scared and stuff. I'm not gonna say anything, y'all. I see y'all in the chat. Don't do it, please, please, y'all, please. Cause y'all know I keep it real. I can't do it. I'm not gonna do it with y'all niggas. I'm not gonna do it. Eric Davis, what's going on, good brother?
Whoa.
No, don't. Shout out to everybody in the chat, man. It's all love. Y'all know it's all love, man. Focus. What's going on, brother?
Man, just building with the gods and the goddesses, man.
Mm-hmm.
Went to the bookstore. I don't know if y'all got half price bookstore where y'all at. Went to the bookstore this weekend and got a couple of good books, man. And I was thinking about you, bro. This picture right here was in the book, and the brother had painted this. It's a recent photo in our day and time, and it said in the description of the picture below, it said, if I can imagine what the gods or the powerful indigenous people of this land today, an image I would see them today, he said I would imagine them driving a Cadillac, and that's what the picture he drew right here, you know. So this is like a bear, and he
Where
got,
the
you know,
picture at? Where the picture? I want to see it. Where is it?
it's right here. That's it right here on my profile pic.
Oh, your profile pic not showing up right now.
Oh, okay. Well, man, I was gonna try to send it to you, but I don't know you was on deck. But I was
Now
gonna
you,
try
you
to
can
send
send
it.
you can send it to my email. I'll pull it up right now.
All right, let me see how I can do that.
Yeah, take your time, bro. Take your time. Shout out to everybody in the
Can
building,
I
man. My
know the
bad.
no? Can I text it to you?
Oh yeah, you can take it to that number.
All right.
No, I sent it to my email. Shout out to everybody in the building. Joseph Johnson in the building. Big Dog. Willie Jones. Shout out to everybody. Like I said, y'all pop on, man. Even the new brothers and sisters coming on. They nervous, man. I mean, I want to make sure everybody feel comfortable. Shout out to T Turner once again for popping on. I appreciate you, sis. Shout out to you. Shout out to the sister T Turner. Yeah, man. Y'all hit that link, man. Y'all play too much in the chat, dude. I swear to God. I know when I know you're on bullshit, yo, what I do? I don't even look at the chat. I turn it off. I put my banner on. I look at the banner screen. I'm not about to look in the chat because I know y'all goofy as hell. Y'all ignorant. And you ain't got no censor, man. Seriously. Wild and uncut. That's why I say I'm not gonna look. Not gonna do it. Not on duty. Hey man, listen, man. Hey, this bill for tomorrow is gonna go up. It's lining up. Hopefully you got what's going on. You understand me? This phenotype, this look, it goes with a certain genetics, and we're gonna get into where that genetics stimulate from too, man. It's gonna be one of them ones. Shout out to everybody in the building too, by the way, man. All right, let me get to this photo. Yeah, it's like a nigga. It look like I don't know what kind of creature that is, brother.
Brother say in the description below the pic that it was a bear he was trying to depict in there. But it looked like a jaguar to me too. But you know, it was just powerful. He said he imagined these guys seeds today in today's time driving the Cadillac smoking one. You know what I'm saying?
Hell
So
no. That's crazy.
So I thought about you because I know you rocked the bear and stuff. He drew a bear in there. I said, man, it look like That look like AP and smoking one driving a Cadillac. You know what I'm saying?
You funny as hell. Hell yeah. You funny as hell. That shit looks silly though. That shit like it could be a little cartoon or something, like a little Nick at Night cartoon. You feel what I'm saying? So
But
yeah.
it makes me though when I see it. It makes me today like how do we express ourselves today? What is the artistry today that we would want to depict ourselves as? Is kind of like the folks say in the Bible, like nothing should be added to it, and you can't. But we know that it's still God's people, if you will. You know, I don't want to get too far from what we doing on the Aboriginal tip, but I think it is stuff that's supposed to be added in there. You know what I'm saying about what's going on today with us. So that brings me to this point to where us as the Aboriginal people, where is our artistry today? At how are we trying to, you know, what imagery are we leaving to our future seeds? You know what I'm saying? That was the most powerful aspect I got from it.
Right, man. That's why we got to get into the literature game, which a lot of brothers sisters in the Aboriginal community has ventured off and did literature, got books and stuff. So now I think we need to format some type of curriculum that can now be introduced into Western education as proper Aboriginal history or so-called Black people history. So we kind of want to make those connecting bridges and usurp that to being Aboriginal history. So when they organically look at what they gonna call Black history, is gonna line right up with Aboriginal history, and that's what we want. We want a curriculum set up based off the basis and methodology of the Aboriginal brothers and sisters that set forth to that. So it's gonna take very intelligent, articulate, you know what I'm saying, brothers to do this, man. So yeah, I think that's some dope shit, man. We got little Yos on here, man. Yos Hawk Yos, what up?
Bliss, honor, and prosperity to my little big bro, Bap. And shout out to the other brother on the panel, man. What's going on, man?
Man, you over there fly in a motherfucker over there, boy.
One God.
Shoot, man, I'm getting over a cold because you already know I was home in South Georgia. I was riding down Suwannee Creek, passed by the Okefenokee Swamp,
Oh
all
yeah.
the way to guess what? Duval County, Mayport. That's where we kicked in, like the new year for my nephew, my great nephew at that. I'm a great uncle. So my great nephew is 2 years old. So we kicked in a new year in Jacksonville. Then we came back to South Georgia. Then I got on the road and hop skirted it all the way back up to Maryland, man. And I'm just getting
You
that
getting
gun
over the cold, yeah.
right now because of the cold. Yeah, like my body got to acclimatize, and it's crazy how after only 6 days, my body is still trying to acclimatize to everything. But I mean, I've been seeing everything happening on the back end, man. I gotta commend you and give you your flowers for keeping everything peaceful. Because
Man,
we
hey,
all know, like going to the new year, cats be trying to come at you, but you kept everything peaceful.
it happens every year, yo. So I know how to we know how to dodge it now. You know what I'm saying? We all we want to put out on them brothers and sisters that have ill will or negative connotation towards the Aboriginals or Aboriginal community or Aboriginal power for that means. Listen, we want to put peace and blessings in your heart. May your mind be eased and healed. You know what I'm saying? That's all I can say, man. We're a different type of hater, man. I hate to see you in that position of thought process, bro. And for anybody.
Exactly. I mean, for anybody. And
Yeah.
I always try to greet people with bliss, honor, and prosperity because it's bad enough when people read from the same book of knowledge that you read from and they try to say that what you're reading from is pseudo when they're reading from the same book. They're drinking the same water. They're dipping their cup in the same aquifer that you dip your cup in, but yet your cup is pseudo. That's why I be scratching my head at a lot of the stuff that be going on. And I don't pay it no mind, don't give it too much attention. But when we see certain people come back and try and create illusion, deception,
And
and
chaos.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, we gotta refuse that. And us as gods and us that vibrate on a certain frequency can turn down and tune the frequency of the overall community. You see what I'm saying? So, and oftentimes some people feed into it. Some people don't understand. I'm able to diagnose it immediately. I'm able to,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? To figure out a move to overcome that particular and we can suppress these negative connotations that's being amplified by certain people. Certain people are going to respond to it based off of emotion.
Exactly. And this is the type of psyops that we have been trying to show people, that through social media, you have information operations. That's why, like I big up, little big bro, Geechee guy, for showing people the power of social media and how it can be used to distract and distort and make your mind warp. So if your mind is already in a paradigm, stick with that paradigm. Ain't nothing wrong with praying. When you pray, all you're doing is putting words in the ether and
In
giving
the atmosphere,
power.
right?
Yeah, you're giving the frequency power. That's what our grandmothers did. That's why they protected us for so long. My grandmother lived to almost be 100 years old. So
Mm,
prayed every day. Those prayers went into the storehouse. So the storehouse is the frequency above, and it keeps raining down on the family as a whole. The issue and the problem is it's not going to last long. So the next elders of the village where I'm from in South Georgia is my mother and father, and they pass everything on to me. So
mm,
now it's my due diligence to take care of my nephew. You see what I'm saying? Because my brother, who it was supposed to be passed to, he looking at a murder being pinned on him that he didn't even commit, but because of all of the evidence they have, it could easily be prosecuted against him. Guess why? Because in the court of law, it's what you can prove.
mm.
And they can prove that the toxicology that the GI did on a person's body had the same remnants of said drugs. You get where I'm going with this?
Right.
That
Yep.
brother had. So this is how they pin stuff on you, like pinning the tail on a donkey. And I'll be trying to tell people to be wary and be careful when you're in these highways and byways, because at any given time law can pin stuff on you, and they're
Right.
only looking at a certain group of people.
Right. The pen.
But I'm pretty much battling with,
The
just making
pen
sure my brother,
country.
because he already got other charges. But with this one,
Damn.
he ain't looking at coming home. And at the
That's
same,
fucked up.
yeah, you just became a grandfather, and at the time of you becoming a grandfather, I just became a great uncle, and mom and pops ain't got that much time left on this realm, but they're doing everything they can to hold on. So that's
Mm,
why I always greet people with bliss, honor, and prosperity. I don't try to bring negative connotations to nobody, because we all are going through something physically and personally and in the private of our lives. It's
fact.
if you decide to share it with people, you can be open, honest, and transparent. But I digress on that, my brother.
Man, that's some facts, bro. And like you said, man, mental health is running rampant in our community, man. So be aware of what's going on. Learn how to look at it. Learn what the key signs is, man. So that shit is sick, man, and it's really
Oh,
bad on my people, man. Real talk, man.
oh, you already know, man. And yeah, I was over there, and let's just say, man, it ain't.
It ain't right.
Yeah, it ain't cool.
No, I'm not laughing at him. I'm laughing to bring some humor to this
I'm,
very sad situation. You
yeah,
understand what I'm saying?
and I'm also just laughing at a point not knowing a brother and a brother coming at me, and the only thing that he can come at me about is my nose, and I'm just like the most charismatic motherfucker you will ever meet in your life. Like that's the only thing that you got to joke
Listen,
about.
that's
Like,
even sick. That's even sick to identify somebody you don't know and point out that particular feature of his physiognomy. That is weird to me. I'm just saying, like, but we understand that we can't get our minds in the mind of someone who's mentally unstable, who needs that help. And so I encourage people to get them the help that they properly need. And that's from anyone who's dealing with, the mental illness situation.
All we're trying to do is balance. We're trying to bring balance. We're trying to keep everything balanced. The sisters doing their thing, brothers doing their thing. We're trying to keep everything balanced. But every time around the same time of the dead of winter, going into a new year, you have this type of distraction.
It's been how many years in a row? 5, 6.
So it means
and
that
it's always a motherfucker trying to attack big Aboriginal power.
and it happens on purpose, man.
That's why
that's energy. That's energy harvesting.
Right. I was gonna beg to differ, my brother Lil Yos. I think these people, they have a well strategized attack on the people who are conscious to their aware of their identity. I've been going through some extreme adversity since I first popped up on this Aboriginal channel, and that's why I've been kind of absent these last couple of weeks. But I got a little podcast I'm trying to get on, something like all big and blown up like Aboriginal Power, but I'm on just like Facebook Live right now. Mine is called Fatherland Videos. But I didn't receive this hostile like type of aggression for people until I got on this platform and I started speaking. And then I just made a power move a month ago with getting my property registered with the farm, a USDA farm, and I got a greenhouse and some animals coming soon. But ever since I started making these power moves, like with this farm stuff and popping up on Aboriginal Power StreamYard, like I've been having like a lot of hostile like energy from people and stuff. And for those who don't know, I've been in the military. I went to military school because I couldn't do good in public school. I went into the Air Force. I got put out of there for smoking that good weed. And then I went into the Army and I did chemical recon in the Army and went to war and stuff. And being a reconnaissance professional, or recon, people know it as Ghost Recon, I know how to watch body movement and stuff without being there or them knowing I'm there. I can just watch what they're doing, what kind of objects and things they might be putting up and setting up, and I know the whole play. And I go back to a higher chain of command, and I tell them, hey, this is what they got, this is what they doing, this is probably what they finna do. So y'all probably want to go this way, y'all probably want to do this. So that's my expertise as a recon soldier. But to see what's going on is to see that these people have an organized system against us. You know what I'm saying? And we can't take that for granted. One thing I have been doing before I shut up is watching closely what I eat. You know, I've been going to the grocery store a lot. I don't trust just pulling up to a window and somebody handing me some food or anything, you know, because I could look in their eyes when I pull up to the drive-thru. I could just look in their eyes, you know, they got something on their mind. You see what I'm saying? So,
shit, like I'm saying though, what they using spiritual attacks? Is that what you saying, bro?
Nah, brother. AB, you got some big things popping, bro. And from my reconnaissance, professional skills, is that these people are organized and they have a mission to tear apart whatever we are building as a gods and goddesses waking up to our true identity. And we can't
Right.
just say, y'all spirit, like I was talking about some
No,
stuff.
I'm
Oh,
saying
that's
you
spook.
right, because I feel
That,
like it's agents amongst us, bro. Because like we
bro.
be building some fire ass builds, bro. Like I'm talking about fire classic builds, and it'd be a nigga come in, we thinking he gonna add to it, and he'll just go off the rants and shit, like to the point where niggas even think that I'm a orc. Somebody said I'm a orc, fam.
Yes, yeah. Yesterday I heard him say that shit. But see, the most powerful thing is knowing who you are and know what you're doing. And once you know who you are, know what you're doing, then you know what you up against because you be like, if you don't value yourself for how important that you are, you think, oh, this is just some evil and some hater, that hater type, that spookism. Like I was talking about some stuff. Boy, that's some spookism, brother. Drop the knowledge I was telling me. Man, get in the books. Where's the literature and all that stuff? And I had to wake up and try to grow to that. And
Nah, that's what
once
we
you
gotta do though. We gotta grow though. And like I said, if you're not able to look back 5 years, 10 years back and be like, yo, I've grown from this thought process, from the way I think, yo, you stagnant, nigga. You still lost. You understand me? Hey, we got a couple people on this live stream. I want to give them my brothers a chance to get it in. Shout out to Eric Davis on here dropping some heat with us. We got Big Brother Lil Yost came with the wisdom, man, from an OG. He become a super OG now. You know what I'm saying? He a super OG now. Shout out to Fresco Vibes, and we got Smoke Signal on the panel, man. What up, Smoke Sig? Fresco.
Whoa, what up with it? What up with it?
What's
Man,
the
I just wanted to piggyback on what the military dude was saying, man. And I don't mean to just call you military dude, but the job you had was that was a detailed job. And I don't think they have as much power as they think they do, which is why they throw in the kitchen sink. They coming up with new hot sauces. They coming up with new remedies to cure the hot sauces and stuff. And it's like a repeated process because at this point they have nothing else. They recognize the fact that we are rising above that shit, and they recognize the fact that we are just trying to get out the matrix.
I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. Like the hot sauce conversation, niggas don't even have that anymore, man. That shit. Oh, hey, somebody got to mute up or jump out. You got bad echo. Bad echo. Sheesh.
Yeah, you good now.
We ain't messing with no damn hot sauce, man. That V word and that Rona. Nah, man. Listen, man. That shit fake, man. We banned off of that, nigga. Fuck a mask, nigga. America ain't been wearing masks for down to 2 years. We ain't.
Okay. Well, basically, just all in all, in a nutshell, then they're throwing the kitchen sink, bro.
They
They throwing the kitchen sink, and they hold on. Let me get this out. I'm gonna let you hold on. They throwing the kitchen sink, and they don't have nothing left. They don't. That sun is getting hotter and hotter, and it's gonna break their asses down. And you watch what I tell you. But hey, that's just what it is.
All right, let's get into it, man.
Hey, Fresco. The only thing that I'll say is this: like when it comes to a military perspective, like most people will see me and think that I'm like in my 20s, but I'm 40 years old. So I'm gonna keep it 100 with all of y'all. I'm 40 years old. I'm a 80s baby. I was born 1982. And I was in the Navy. So when it comes to the military are not the people conducting these operations or experiments. Okay.
At all.
Oh yeah, I know that. The proof has been in the pudding with that.
The people that are conducting these experiments are housed in the form of corporations. And this is the thing that I've been trying to expose for a long time. And what I mean by that is you have private corporations and you have public corporations, but a lot of the private or the privateer or the privatized corporations
on water
they're under an umbrella of a bigger and larger corporation that help to write the laws that Congress passes, that the senators have been caught red-handed reading off of a script.
Like government files they got
Yeah.
classified files.
Yep. Like
These private
watermarks.
these private corporations don't have no files.
No file.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
But they have record of openly having certain things, openly working, re-engineering things. These properties are going by. These are private, compensated corporations that is almost advised. What's the word I'm looking for? Side by side with the government. They're not dominion under their law, not even maritime or admiral law.
Yep. And they get away with taxes because state to state they know what federal and local can do. And when you start researching your state, start with where you are and then work your way back as learning why did your family move to said area. So when you get back to the area where your family was at, and then you realize that you do have family in that area, 9 times out of 10 it's the southeast woodland region, one of the most predominant regions that they try to run your family from with these militia districts. Because I let people see my consanguinity, my genealogy, and they said, damn. When they looked at my genealogy, they said, damn, your genealogy is so through the roof, we don't even know where to start. Why you think my name was Lilios Rios? Rios means river, but when you go and you research the struggle for the Georgia coast, you start seeing that a lot of the information in Georgia is in the archives of Hispaniola. And my grandfather, born in South Carolina, the PD region, an area called Indian Town, home of the Chickasaw. I keep telling people, the Chickasaw or the Chickasaw. That $5 Indian is the Chickasaw, but your ancestors are the Chickasaw. That's what they were called, the Chickasaw.
So it was many different tribes out there. It wasn't just the Gullah.
No,
You know?
you got nations, you got government. These governments
the
run
Wale,
by certain families,
Geechee
bro.
River, that's your Geechee. The Altamaha, when you look up the Altamaha River, the Altamaha River don't just stretch into parts of Ali Bamboo. It stretches all the way into portions of Louisiana, Arkansas, Kansas area. Those are the Tama. You had the Timma and the Tama. The Timma and the Tama were cousins. They didn't speak the same language as the Muskogee or the Muskogee or the Miccosukee. The Miccosukee later moved into South Florida. Because where I live at is called Timbuktu Ancient Land. And Moody Air Force Base makes up a lot of the Timucuan land. Moody Air Force Base. They put an Air Force Base on Timucuan land, and then they put an Air Force Base around the Saritra.
And I'm going to keep it flat with you, man.
Mayport, Jacksonville, Duval County. That's your naval.
Shit was already there that they took over too, man. I ain't even gonna get into the deep.
Right. I ain't trying to break it down.
Yeah, we ain't gonna go too deep on it, but listen, you notice he said must. You notice he said Florida, like Tallahassee.
And it was like Tallahassee is anglicized. The word is Tuluhuasi.
Okay, and see, I've heard that a lot about the Indian names and stuff. That a lot of them were kind of Anglo-Saxonized, you know, like the names. Yeah, I've heard
just
that a
like
lot.
Alabama is Ali Bamu.
What about Tuskegee, Alabama? Tuskegee.
is a
Black Warrior. I mean, is it Tuskegee or
It's Tuscaloosa.
you thinking about
Tuscaloosa? Yeah, my bad.
but
Tuscaloosa, my bad.
is a people too. All you got to pay attention to is the gi, and the gi, the yi, the ya, and the ja. Because Espakoki, Watunka, Este, or Iste, or Ponoka, therefore we are, is no different than Akfuski, which is the Muskogean word for sharp waters, where my uncle lived off of, guess what? Pecan Street. That's a dead ringer. Where
It's
do
all there.
oh,
It's all there.
yeah, in Oklahoma. He lived on Pecan Street and then later moved his family to Los Angeles, where he's buried today with his daughter.
And I heard you say something other earlier, brother, about Rio, and I'm here in Texas, so or as I say, Aztecs. Um, and they keep talking about the Grande River. That's the borderline between Mexico and Texas right here.
Yeah, the
And
big
they
river. Yeah.
Yeah, and they showed all these illegal immigrants crossing. But see, I'm looking at the land. You know, I'm military, so I'm looking at the land and everything. I said, look at all these pyramids and mounds up there. When they drew this country line right here, they was trying to cut us off from a natural migrating point and a river flow that you can move stuff from the our old civilizations to wherever other civilizations and stuff. And I heard you talking a little bit about that earlier, and I've been looking at this illegal immigration thing, and I'm like, man, that's why they put that thing right there to cut off the whole circulation.
And notice that the latest dam that they built, when you look at the Texas archives of dams, notice how it's shrinking the Rio. Now, the Rio Grande, like grande, means big. It used to be a big river. One more river to cross is what our ancestors used to sing, because we always lived by the river. We lived down by the riverside. We've always been river people. We always had irrigation that led to an even bigger river, even the black lakes and black swamps, where when the alligators would come up to you, the only way you knew an alligator was coming, you had to look at the waves, similar to the waves in your head when you brush it, or you had to see the bubbles popping up. If you didn't see them bubbles popping up, move your ass out the way, because that gator getting ready to chunk your ass. But our grandmothers were the interpreters. They spoke Ali Bamu, and remnants of Ali Bamu is still found in the southern draw. Because people used to think we were slow from down south and didn't even realize that the language was always there.
Bro.
Geechee. They spoke Hatichi. People don't get it because we amalgamated with different tribes, from the Tuscarora to the Edisto, the Etowah, the Varnas, all of these different people that did what they did to survive, man, because of these militia districts. And when you start learning about how these militia districts were created, you start to realize East Florida went from what it was because of a Carolina Providence that stretched all the way to Jamaica and parts of Barbados, the bearded people of the island of Barbados. You can't make this up. So that's why it always behooves me when people do the same research and then say that your information is pseudo when you're reading and dipping your cup in the same water aquifer. I'm from South Georgia, North Florida. How the fuck is my information pseudo when I'm getting the information from South Georgia, North Florida, when I'm the nigga telling people about the Timaku? Some of these motherfuckers didn't even know about the Timaku. And now everybody want to know about the Timaku, the Guau, the Geechee, the Ogeechee River, the Altamaha River. because I'm on the back end researching this information and giving it to our brothers and sisters so that they can cross-reference and do their information and give it to the people.
And see, brother, that was another thing I want to disagree with you with, because I'm in totally agreement with you, is that this information that we dropping, all of this stuff is collegiate level information that you got to get into deep, high level of research to go gather and try to comprehend and regurgitate.
Right.
And the stuff that these folks is talking about, some stuff you learn in elementary school. Oh, y'all, the slave ships came from Africa. I mean, the stuff that they talking about, you can go to a fifth grade teacher and they can sit there and tell you that stuff, but the stuff we speaking on is stuff that even a college level, when you get in there, you gotta write an essay or do a project or something on, you still have to take that college level, but still go to the library and research like people on high levels that have doctors in and stuff like that, and people that are actually archaeologists that have been to these places and done the research. So we speaking on a whole nother level of intellect that these people are trying to dumb us back down to, where we in third and fourth grade with these people when we talking to them.
And to disagree to agree is to say this. Whenever you're doing your research, because I was in the military, I was on a team of people who were created to do what is called identity targeting. And you see it today. And what I wanted to let
That was that a psyops group? That was psyops?
No, it wasn't psyops. This wasn't psyops.
All right.
We are targeting malicious actors who are doing the targeting, because what we're doing is finding a weakness in their whole. So when it comes to research, we had what was called a 3-point data rule. If nothing fit that criteria, it didn't surpass or supersede. And that's coming from the military and going into mainstream, because you had private companies. Whenever you're doing research about like cyber and stuff like that, like name some of the websites that you can go to and see stuff on cyber, like C&E, edge.net, like different sites like that.
So you making a lot of sense too, because you saying that these are private or organizations, big powerful companies and stuff like that.
And they don't work for the government. They don't work for the government. They do their own research with their own people.
Right. So it makes sense what you're saying, because when I went to Iraq and Kuwait, these people over there, since they selling oil out their land, the indigenous, the aboriginal people of that land, they get royalty checks. So it will make sense if a powerful organization, a company is in the land and they making money. Well, don't let these people know they're at home. Tell them they from Africa, because if our organization let these people know that they're at home, we gonna have to pay them some royalty checks.
Mm-hmm. Hey, bro, you just said something powerful. You know what it was called back then that a lot of people don't know? It was called the Food for Oil Program. I'm going to say it again. It was called Food for Oil Program. So see how they were swindling these people out of their land? Food for Oil Program. Now, when it comes to the Southeast Woodland regions, look at how our families were swindled out of their land. It wasn't a program. It was a process. So when you look at Texas and you look at that border and you look at the Rio Grande, guess what they're doing? I told my niece, I said, they're processing these people through. What does process mean? That means that they are vetting these people. Only certain groups of people out of all of these people are going to be let through. The rest are going to have to go back home. And through that process, the government is going to process them to work in different areas for these said corporations that they control. That's why when I always look at Mexicans, I just shake my head. I'm like, yo, you know damn near the same apprenticeships that we do. But you allow the government to process your ass into certain portions of this land and do the shit that you're doing, and you think you living. Motherfucker, you ain't living. You don't get it. You got foreign exchange students coming here on visas. That's the other thing that you got to look at with the Department of State. You don't have a three-headed monster. You have an eight-headed snake, a hydra. And most people don't even know where it starts. Department of State allow foreign exchange, and they allow people to come here and work on working visas. And the majority of the people that are here on the working visas overdo their stay and don't go back home.
Talk that shit. Talk that. Definitely talk that shit.
These motherfuckers don't understand.
Yeah, talk
That's
that shit.
why when the paradigm was the visa waiver program, it was designed to catch lone wolves doing what around that time? Terroristic acts on American soil. But the paradigm shifted around 2015 to guess what? Cyber. You know why it shifted? Because of the incident that happened back in New York when Iranians were able to tap into the dam. They were almost close to shutting down that motherfucking dam.
But you know what though? That was a psyops too, bro. That was
Nah,
just
that's what I'm saying.
listen,
Everything.
let me explain. What
No,
I'm
I'm,
saying.
I'm telling you what I know,
No,
bro.
I understand
But
that.
I'm gonna let you. I'm gonna let you build on it. But I'm letting you know what I know from a cyber perspective on that. And you right, it was a psyops.
Yeah,
Yeah,
these
and
people got
listen to me.
25 different plays, man, that they could run at any given time on it. When they throw out information like that, they telling you the reason why they're doing what they're doing. We just gonna do this on because that happened. Now we're gonna do this and we're gonna press y'all. This wasn't even done by people over. This was done by people in a whole nother country. So okay, because these people over here did it, and guess what? We think somebody within the population of United States citizens, they might try it again. So we just gonna do it to everybody going forward. And they set up all these plays, man. These people got think tanks, man, that run plays that
Mic check.
Yeah, that's why I was trying to tell a brother too, man, is that man, we can't just be saying these people some haters. These people is you know what I'm saying, they just coming with bad energy. We gotta understand these people is has a well organized system to tear apart whatever we building up as aboriginal and indigenous people to our true identity. You see what I'm saying?
Right, right.
and yeah,
And it was the sheikhs um from Saudi, like the all sides that would come to Bahrain, because Bahrain, like when I was in the Navy, Fifth Fleet, that's where I was at. And this was all the way back in like 2003, 2004. So you're talking about Operation Iraqi Freedom and Enduring Freedom around this time, because we were literally saving Iraqis, and we used to pull into the Kuwaiti naval base to get fuel, and
Arab John.
go out
That's
in
why I was
town.
at an Arab John. That's why I was at.
When we would go out in town, we had to have our weapons and the posture to shoot to kill. And I didn't even like that because I was cool with a lot of these people. And when you would ride by, you would see what had happened during the time when Saddam did what he did when he raided Kuwait. Because when you would ride, like when you would walk through all these places just to get to, like the Riverside area, you go through the houses and you still see blood splatter on the wall and gunshots and stuff like that. And that shit make the hair on the back of your neck stand up. And you like, damn, they ain't
And
have.
you know what's funny about that, Yost, is that I get a lot of negative energy from Just talking about haters back on the basic tip. You know, you serve in the white man army, you was in the white man military and this and that, and they would never know because I never knew before I went over there, even though I was in the service, that when you get over to them Iraqi people, it's black, 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 black. All you gonna see is black, 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 black people. They gonna be so happy to see you, and that you know, when you watch it on TV here, you don't see that melanin rich blackness. I ain't talking about no African black. I'm talking about some Africans in the desert black. You
Yeah.
see what I'm saying? And
Hey,
folks don't
yo.
understand these people want us there to help them protect to fight off the invaders in their land. And well, you taking the oil and you doing that to them people and this and that, and these people never really know until they set foot in that land. Like, nah, them black people over there want us over there.
Hey, that's why if you listen, when can y'all hear me? Because I know
Yeah,
last
yeah,
time I
you
went
back, you
out.
back now.
All
You
right,
back
okay.
now. Yeah, yeah.
That's
Bliss up,
why if you
Hano.
listen, peace, yo, peace to the other brother that was talking as well. That's why you listen when Muhammad Ali, when he didn't go to the military, he told you exactly why he didn't go. He said, because I'm not going around the world to go fight no other oppressed people like we've been oppressed today. You know what I'm saying? And he and also they'd be like, well, around the world, there's more melanated or people of melanated, you know what I'm saying, hue that is being oppressed. Because even when you think about it, you get said something about Kuwait, right? When you read books like the story of the economical hitman, what he tell you? He tell you the first thing they do is they go make you an offer you can't refuse, right? Then if you don't take that offer, what happens? They send in the jackals. They send in the jackals to shake shit up, shake the economy up. You know what I'm saying? To where they
That's
blowing
a
up.
Rothschild. That's cold word when they say the jackals are talking about Jackal Island,
Yeah,
Indian Mound. This is where Roth formulated his plan of the banking corrupt system that we see today.
yeah,
That's
Yeah,
what me and
exactly. So
Hano.
when
Hold on, hold on. Yeah,
let me
go
get
ahead,
finished. Let me get finished
go
real
ahead,
quick.
go ahead.
My
So look,
bad.
so when you talk about the jackals, right? So after the jackals, the next step is war. Now I've spoken to people, and I don't want to ask you guys because I know you guys, you know, y'all still probably somehow, you know, y'all still connected with the with whatever military group y'all was in, right? Well, I've spoken to people who was in Iraq, right? The second time, right? Because the first time what happened was the reason why Saddam Hussein invaded Kuwait, because George Bush and them had oil companies in Kuwait that was digging under the borderline between Kuwait and Iraq, taking the Iraqis oil. You
Right.
understand? This is why they went in
For
there the first
oil.
time. Oh, yeah. So this is why they went in there the first time, right? So boom. The second time was what? Oh shit! Some nine jokers with box cutters came in and hijacked planes and flew them into buildings. When you see videos, of the World Trade Center without no planes flying into them, and then you hear other stories about explosives and shit like that's a whole nother thing, right? So boom. Now they looking for Bin Laden, right? They're looking for Bin Laden, right? They said, you know what? Fuck it. We think Bin Laden is in Iraq. We just go. Oh, and Iraq got weapons of mass destruction, right? Which they never found. They never found no weapons of mass destruction. No weapons, right?
nah, I beg to differ, but that's classified information.
Yeah, that's
That
classified.
was my specific job detail. I'm chemical reconnaissance. I mean chemical, biological, nuclear weapons, recon.
CBRN.
So I mean
CBRN.
the
No, go
type
ahead.
of stuff the type of stuff that you know we didn't find, you can't see. I talked a little
Now I
bit about it
understand,
earlier.
my brother.
Be
I
careful.
understand,
Be
brother.
careful where you go get your food from. Be careful who
Yeah.
you let bring you a drink to your table, because all of this stuff is a lot of this stuff is classified. But yeah, go ahead, brother.
So all right. So boom. They said it. The FBI said they ain't had no weapons of mass destruction. Now, was it people from the military playing shit there? Yeah. It's like how Pat Tillman got killed. He got killed by friendly fire. He got killed by his own team. Why? Why did Pat Tillman get killed? When he was waving his hand, they can see through the scope of the gun that they was about to kill him with, that it had to be him. You understand what I'm saying? And they killed him because he was saying that whole thing
The
that
issue.
happened with, huh?
No, I was going to say that the issue is that it wasn't anything planted there. And when people started to find out that there was no WMDs in Iraq, they started to look at other areas. Now, even though Afghanistan is considered the Middle East, but on a geopolitical perspective, Ahanu, we know that Afghanistan is part of Asia. Pakistan is part of Asia. See, they don't want to let you know this is an
But we
Asian
know all that shit is
administration.
Asia, man. That's
Yeah,
them
yeah,
creating
that's what
these
I'm saying.
demarcation lines and borders. We know
Yeah,
all of that
but
shit is Asia.
what I'm getting at, is
Yeah.
that when they went into the mountains, they
Mm-hmm.
ain't find nothing over there. So guess what ended up happening? They dropped a Moab, mother of all
All
bombs.
bombs. Yes, I know
They
about it.
dropped
Yes.
the Moab. So
Mm-hmm.
you have to ask yourself, like, what was they covering up over there? Because obviously you knew what was in that mountain range, and I guarantee it had property of. It wasn't USSR. It wasn't Prussia. It wasn't Korea. It wasn't no other landmass. But guess whose? So you had to cover some shit up
I mean, it's a lot. The
because
whole reason
going back
for
to the
them going.
Taliban.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
No,
the
no, you
Taliban
got it.
get paid from who? And what was they doing? They and soon as and what Tillman was saying was when they was over there, they had them securing the poppy fields. So they double crossed the Taliban. The Taliban was getting paid by them, and they double crossed them too. You know what I'm saying? So how it go? Like, cause I was gonna go to the Marines, right? I was gonna go to the Marines. I was signed, boom, 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 everything.
Yeah, we thankful
Man,
you didn't, because we
my
wouldn't have
boy,
a
yeah,
Honolulu today.
yo,
Listen.
my boy is a guard body, right? He was like, look, my dude, man, look, man, ain't the military ain't nowhere for no niggas. You know what I'm saying? No place for no. And I'm not saying, man, whatever y'all brothers experience was, you know what I'm saying, and whatever your motive for doing what you had to do, you know, whatever. I'm just talking about me and just talking about y'all already know about the system. If you knew that they hiding the fact that we are the original people here, they're doing it, they have an agenda. So obviously they have plenty of other agendas. You know what I'm saying? The same thing they did to us, take the resources from us, which is all the inventions plus the land. They go around the world and do that shit. And it's like that's why I kind of related it to the economical hitman book, because they go make these countries offers they can't refuse, like George
All
Bush
I'm
made.
all I'm trying to say is that when we got to know that these Iraqi people and Kuwaiti people have, we got to know that 80% of them people over there is black, 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 blue, black. And once we establish that, then we can start to build on the politics and the Shiite and the Sunni religious type tip of it.
Right.
But if we not knowing that these
Shiite
people are
and shit.
black,
Black.
we're just playing a part of their narrative, not knowing what we talking about. And one thing I want to say before I shut up is that
Nah, you
when
right.
I was stationed in Kuwait, Arab John, the black people that was ran out of the land by Saddam Hussein and the whiter Arabic people, the Aboriginal people of that land will come put their tents around our military base because they can't live on base. But they only felt
They
safe
want
that
to
they
help.
put their tents up
Yep.
around all the U.S. military bases because on the inner lands, who we were fighting and engaging in war was the people that already had overcame them, and they was running. They was happy that we was there, and a lot of them work on bases like work in the stores or work in the cafeteria or do janitorial services or anything like that. So
Right.
we got to first establish that these people is black people. Now, my favorite person is Muhammad Ali and Malcolm X. I can't choose which one, but I like the heart that Muhammad Ali had. Now, I'm not sure what was going on in Vietnam, but the war I fought in Iraq is that if I did not serve in the military and go over there to Iraq, I would have never helped my brothers over the melanin rich people in Iraq. Now, I don't know nothing about which Vietnam and stuff, and if there was black Asiatic people there also, and it was the same dynamics. But I
Yeah,
know from
it
the war
definitely
I fought
was.
in,
And
it,
notice, and notice, it was always the melanin rich brothers even if they were of a yellow hue that always came running to you. They always came running. They
And happy
showed
to see you.
most
Happy, hey
love.
brothers, it's so happy to see
It
you,
had the
bro.
deepest roots. Yeah. That's
Hey,
why I was so heartbroken when I was over there, because these were the brothers that loved us the most. They were like, thank you, thank you. So that's why when I'm looking at what's going on with like Ukraine, that ain't got nothing to do with us, and they gotta go over there and handle that shit.
Now I
I'm
knew I'm not saying that what I did, I signed up to help my brothers in Iraq and stuff, and I knew I
Yeah,
was
we
going
didn't
over to help
say
some black
no, but
people.
yeah,
But
we did.
divine intervention is a motherfucker.
It just showed us just how close we were. Like even with the East Africans, like when I came to DC for the first time, and I met a lot of the Eritreans and the Ethiopians, they were some of the most greeting people. I don't know if it was because I just had a yellow hue, but I shared a picture of my mom and my pops, and I'm yellow than my mom and my pops because of the Robert side of the family. And then when you go down that Robert side, you start to see a whole lot of yellow bone, red bone, as they called it, going up the Geechee Coast into South Carolina with the Lumbee, with the names Locklear, and all of these other ethnicities coming to America and amalgamating with the people already here.
The
And that's
black
why
people
I
are
was
already there. And that's why I was saying, little yo, I felt the same way about Washington, D.C. Oh, that's the headquarters of all the bullshit. But my ex-wife, she was also working for the federal government, and she had to do some training out there. And I went out to Washington, D.C. I was like, that's why they call this motherfucker Chocolate City. It's black people
it's black
everywhere.
people
All
everywhere. And
different
then you
kind of
find
black people.
it's
But
tribes of Indians
until I
in
went
DC.
there, until I went there, I thought it was just some other. Oh, that's the headquarters of all the bullshit. But when I put my feet there and I lived there for a little while, I was like, no, this is
Yep.
a black
Chocolate
place.
City.
yo,
Yep. It was
Washington
black. It's always
D.C.
been
is
black. Yep.
Maryland. Washington
Yep.
D.C. is Maryland and
Maryland.
Virginia. So I don't know,
Virginia.
like
Yeah,
it's
the
niggas
Powder.
down there. It's always
Yeah,
been niggas
that's
all the way from well, I say from
our
New
Chicago.
Hampshire and Maine,
And
all the
see,
way down the shoreline.
when I'm trying to
Our
say
city.
Hanu, is that down here in Texas, we think so much about Washington D.C. never going out there because we some country folk. We say, oh, that's the headquarters with all this government stuff, man. Fuck all that kind of type of shit. You know what I'm saying? But until I went there as a Southern boy, not having the knowledge, and I
Nah,
actually
yep.
lived there for a little while, I was like, man, nah, hold up, this is a
D.C. is
beautiful black
I
place.
done been out there.
Mm-hmm.
My cousin live out there, but yeah, but you said something about the other wars, right? I just want to just touch on this, just since we talking about that, right? All right, we know World War One and Two, what that was about. You know what I'm saying? That was to go around the world and
Yeah.
push the indigenous people from the other countries. That's why it was mostly where in Europe, right? That's why the war was fought over there in Europe. And a
And
lot
they
of
would they would and while the war was going on, guess what they was doing, Hanu? They was, I mean, you already knew, but they were bringing them over here.
yeah.
Yeah.
So we got one and
I'll let
two
you finish.
where they going around the world. They pushing the other melanated people out of a lot of these areas, right? That's why when we look at Europe how it look now, right? They pushing a lot of these people out, right? So then you get to what? Japan, right? When they bombed Pearl Harbor, right? And they were saying that they knew it was going to happen. They knew they was going to bomb Pearl Harbor. You understand what I'm saying? They knew it. When we went over to the Japan, you know what happened? It wasn't nothing but Negroes over there too. The same thing in Vietnam. They went over there. Some people say for the heroin, right? And some people say for the rubber that's in the rubber trees over there, right? So all of these so-called military operations or schisms, right? All of them has an agenda to somehow extract resources from other brown and black people throughout the world. So you know what I'm saying? And so at the end of the day, when I say I ain't joining the Marines, and I was damn sure I was right there. And I guess the L sent me a sign like, nah, don't do it. Do somebody else. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, man, I had a lot of people have good experiences in the military as far as discipline and being getting, you know what I'm saying, getting some type of manhood up under their belt. Um but yeah, I just wanted to say that, man. You know what I'm saying? As far as the military concerned, and a lot of these schisms that they be running, these plays on our mind of how
Mhm.
somebody is always some boogeyman, and they lined this up for it, right? Because in True Lies, when True Lies before the Arabics became the people in the movie who was a terrorist, right? It was the Jamaicans. Sometimes they put the Jamaicans out there. Then it'll be just pretty much drug movies with people from Central and South America, right? Which they exploiting them, they exploiting the Jamaicans. Then in True Lies, that was the first movie where they put some Arabic in it. Arabic dude as the bad guy, right? And then from there on, they kept running the same play to condition our minds. Oh, them people over in the Middle East is they running propaganda plays on you. Them people over there in the Middle East, oh, them are a problem. You know what I'm saying? Meanwhile, they still not giving us what we supposed to get, right? They still mistreating us, bringing immigrants over here and let immigrants outdo us because they promote this degenerate lifestyle to some of us, and some of us don't have the mental capacity to get ourselves out of the hole that we dug. Some brothers do. You know what I'm saying? I'm definitely glad you brothers did something with your life. You know what I'm saying? But they run the same play, man. All of these is plays. All of these are mind control, propagandized plays that they've been running on us for a long time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
I like what you saying, I knew, but what I'm gonna say is this: from all the strategic and militant left, robotic, every day planned out second by second. One thing I learned from being in the military is that magical shit, that spiritual connection to the Alpha Omega, that shit cannot be overcame. That shit is for real. I'm talking about magical shit. So I'm with you that they set up a boogeyman and all that shit, but divine intervention is a motherfucker, man. I'm trying to tell you from my military experience that magic is a motherfucker.
Prince Uriel Bay, the consecrated talisman.
what you know about Uriel, bro? What you know about Prince
Hey,
Uriel? I mean,
hey,
but he was an
I got
Aboriginal, right?
bookmark. Yeah,
He was
he was
Aboriginal, right?
Aboriginal. Yeah,
He talk about the what's the Seal of Solomon Grundy, right?
yep. Solomon Grundy. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
All of that. You know what I'm saying? And on top of it, just having these books and being able to like cross reference, like I always told people to do, is to cross reference because we had to um pretty much make our own assessment. Now,
Yep.
the assessment is what you can prove. Now, even though you make an assessment, guess what? The assessment isn't always true, but the assessment allows people to conduct operations. And I didn't get into conducting operations until I came to the cyber side. But when I was on the terrorism side, they taught me how to target people. So that's why I try to let people know that there are instances in your life when you feel like the frequency is against you. That's motherfuckers targeting you because they're using and they're paying and they're doing whatever they can to find information on you.
And they do that. Look,
Information that is free online.
but that's how they get you though. Even when you be on social
Right.
media, you might be on a site on social media looking at something, right? Or you might have just
And
went
they
somewhere.
steal everything off your phone.
Yeah, and I mean, and then but they also run the mind control plays, right? Because you could have just went somewhere and then you turn your TV on, or even now on YouTube. YouTube got commercials. You'll see the same place where you just left. They'll be having a commercial, or you could have just been looking something up. Then the commercial come on TV. So they got that
Yeah,
artificial
like
intelligence
everything is tracking what you do. So you're right. And the worst
algorithms.
thing, it's not even just the algorithm, it's the metadata. The
Yeah.
metadata tracks to something that I was getting taught on, but I stopped because I was like, ain't no way I'm gonna go down this rabbit hole. I'm not gonna do this. Now, Python, for anybody that knows, Python is a scripted language because the one scripted language that I learned how to use was Perl, because Perl was universal at the time of the paradigm of lone wolf attacks happening in the US and everybody trying to wonder if it's, oh, is it terroristic in nature? Is it not? Is it a white person? Is it a disease? If it's black, oh, bury him under the soil. So that whole political and geopolitical construct was happening around that time. So what I'm trying to get you to understand is that Python is the data mark that is used to pick excuse me, all of the information that you have your followers click on. And I be telling people, like with these new concepts that's happening on like YouTube, like with these polls, stop doing these fucking polls, man. Because the polls is putting all of the people that you have into, guess what? Categories. This person said yes, this person said no.
Yeah, statistics and data. Yeah.
Exactly. And
I
the
don't
data
answer no question. What the
science
brother
is
say? I don't
used
answer no
with
questions. I don't answer
with
questions.
now I'm gonna just say this. I'm gonna end it. So you can ask your question. The data science that is used is through Python. Python is a language used for data science. Data science is used to collect information from people who have profiles, and YouTube is creating profiles for individuals, and that's how they're targeting people.
Yeah. They look at
That's how they
what
shadow ban people
how
too.
many likes you get. They look at what's your view, what you view, what you watch. You know what I'm saying? And they put you on the date and they send videos that's consistent to what you already watch. You know what I'm saying? But also, like you said, with the shadow ban, it's a twofold story that because now when you put shit in the YouTube search, the first thing comes up is the media, right? When you try to look it up and trying to get something from independent media, the first thing
It's
comes up
called ban.
CNN,
Yeah.
Channel 5, da da da, blah blah blah. All of these different news channel stations come up, and you got to scroll, keep scrolling, keep scrolling, keep scrolling. Before it wasn't like that. Before you could just look
Right.
for something and boom, you'll find something and then it'll link you to something else, and then you go from there. But now, like you said, they shadow ban a lot of independent media.
And they did that because with this new trend that they're doing with these polls, they make you create a poll to get all of the people that you're live with to say, hey, how many of y'all think y'all are American? How many of y'all think you are not American? Of course, people are going to click it just to get it off the screen, but
Yeah,
most
they
people are
make you
not paying
too
attention.
because it be blocking the chat. Like it
Yeah,
won't. There's no way to get rid of it if you don't answer it. You know what I'm
but
saying?
the only way you can get rid of it is to click the three buttons on the side and to close the poll. And I
Oh,
be telling people stop using these new um things that they're creating to try and
experiment.
implement the algorithm.
Yeah.
Now, if you have a good question you want to ask somebody, everybody gonna hit that motherfucker. But if you're just doing it just to do it because that's part of the new program that YouTube is doing, don't do it because it's feeding into the data mark. The data mark is the data that goes into the Python system where they are tracking everybody.
So
Like
what's that? A program, right? Python is
yeah,
some type of program they got,
yeah,
right?
Python is a program that helps to track a data mart system that's looking at your pattern of life over time on social media
Yeah.
from different platforms. So, say if like I don't have TikTok, and people always ask like, why you don't got TikTok? Like if you had a TikTok, you could have millions of followers. Like I don't want millions of followers on TikTok because when you realize who owns TikTok, you leave that shit alone.
Yep. Ain't gotta be
Now,
involved with everything, what everybody doing. I ain't never been on TikTok ever.
yeah, like a lot of us ain't got no TikTok. Like I don't got TikTok. I don't got a lot of these apps. The only thing I have is Instagram and Twitter. Those are the only social media platforms because social media is a hell of a drug. Social media will drive you to death if you don't pay attention to what's really going on outside of the norm. You know what I'm saying? And I'll digress on that, but I can go into it. But I'm just thankful that Geechee guy broke down how social media actually works from the time of MySpace to now. Like people have no idea. They have no idea.
So that's powerful what you saying. You saying kind of like, you connected it back to how you started off. You saying like, so these polls and all this stuff, what they see, what we watching, what we consuming on social media, it's not necessarily because we pro-black and our aboriginal identity. It's more so to control us as consumers until, okay, well, we not gonna make no money
Mm-hmm.
if they own that. It's not because they black and then this and that. It's because how we gonna make this money, how we gonna keep control. It's
Like
not because they black. That's a low level vibration of seeing it black and white. Is really like, nah, they making money. They trying to make some money off of that.
they can put a big ass in front of you and jargon your attention for a little bit. Guess what? Next time you scroll up, it's gonna be another ass. It's gonna be
Yep.
another woman. It's
That's
gonna be
how it is on
this,
Instagram. That's
and
how it is on
that's what I'm.
Instagram.
And that's how the data mark works. It works into the favor of your pattern of life. Now, your pattern of life may not be looking at ass all day. I'm just using that as a reference. But when you go to the search, and if you're trying to search a person, like, this person said, subscribe to my channel, by the time you hit the search, it's going to show you the most luxurious ass that you forgot that, oh, I was supposed to type in, like a Hanu L. And you just like scrolling. You done spent about 15 minutes scrolling because your paradigm have been shook by an ass or a woman or something that they know it can take and distract you from what you're supposed to be doing. So these are the dangers of social media. And most people are not realizing that. So that's why when Geechee God put his video out about like social media and stuff like that, it made perfect sense because I'm here to let you know that the data mark behind all of that, they use a program called Python. Like, look it up. You don't got to take my word for it. I'm a cyber ninja. I ain't gonna tread and lead you astray. Look up Python. Python is used for data. That's how they track your data because Python uses code that cuts into specific code that you don't have to use.
And it could do
When you
multiple.
learn the Python language, the
Look,
last.
it could do thousands of different people social
Mm-hmm.
media app or profile at the same time. It could
Yep.
be doing like 100,000 or however many that's in
So
the chat room.
yeah, and imagine how many people are controlling the amount of Instagram followers who are influencers. They can control up to about 1,000 plus Instagram pages just using Python alone. And you sitting there thinking that you are commenting with X, Y, and Z. You're commenting with the person that's behind the page because People are paying these people to do that. My homeboy that I work with, I told you, I work cyber. He got a booth in DC, WNBA and NBA at the arena. When you go to those booths, if you're ever in DC and you're taking pictures and doing all of this, he runs that. And he has 2 5-star restaurants that he controls their page by just showing up, taking pictures of patrons, just being there, eating, having a good time, and he posts it on their Instagram. They don't have to worry about it. It's no different than when you looked at the whole Kanye West on Netflix. His homeboy was telling you, like, he got all this recorded footage of Kanye back in the day before we are at the Kanye that we see today. But guess what? He got all this old footage of Kanye before Kanye became Kanye and decided to make a documentary off of it. Like, people don't understand this. We could have easily been doing our own documentaries. The issue and the problem is you get caught in that global conundrum of, oh, we got to do such and such. Like, no, you don't. Because like with Ahanu, his following was always through the roof. And we knew who was following him. But when it came to the information, I always told you the same thing. Just research, cross-reference, research, cross-reference, research, cross-reference. And people still try to treat that like it's a problem.
How do you do you only do research by collecting multiple different opinions on whatever subject that you have to do the research on. So in that process, when you read through a lot of the information, you're gonna see a lot of people got different views. A lot of this shit ain't consistent. And that's where everything, that's where even you can research fucking garlic. Or you can research the many different peppers or the many different, and they all each expert gonna have a different viewpoint, or and some of them gonna be consistent, some of them not gonna be consistent. But you have to find more research on the shit that's consistent and not consistent for you to be able to make your determination. Because at the end of the day, when you research this, you're gonna come up with your own viewpoints or your own perception of it. You ain't going. Some people fall asleep and just read shit and then just read it just as a novel. Nah, when it comes to history or it comes to like studying these people in the world, you gotta cross reference it. You can't watch for that sake. You watch CNN. You could be settled with what you heard on CNN. We watching other shit that's saying otherwise than what's being said on CNN, and that's all of the media channels.
And that's 100.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Salute. Salute.
100. Go
Smoke,
ahead,
smoke,
smoke.
smoke.
Yeah, bliss up, smoke. Want the smoke. Yes, sir.
Shout out to the channel, to the panel, and to the chat. What's
Whoa,
going
God.
on, man? You know,
Peace, peace,
I, I,
peace.
I see you niggas up here easy like a Sunday morning today. Yeah, it's all good.
That's a fact.
Hey, I got some inquiries though, which might require you niggas to put your thinking caps on, cause you know I ain't no light-footed ass nigga. I don't like tiptoeing through no goddamn tulips. You feel me? So let's just get to the nitty-gritty of this shit real quick. Now, when it comes to the historical account, and not by any means that I concur with the motherfucker, just going by since that's what we got to work with. We understand that the demographic of people here were identified in one of three classifications, right? We have those who are identified as civilized, we have those who are identified as wild, and we have
that class that was identified as savages. Now look, I'm not trying to correlate all this shit to the etymological definitions or what have you. I just want to know if you niggas agree with this assessment.
Hell to the motherfucking no. Never that. Just think about it
Okay.
like this, right? Your people, right? Just think about it, your people. Even if your people ain't classified as Indians, right? If your people, you got roots in the South, you see how your people living. Your people ain't living like no savages. And like I said, I've been around for almost half a century, so I've seen my grandparents and all that, and been down south and seen how they living down there. And they ain't living like no savages. They living the same way we living up here. It might not be exactly or as fast as some places in the city, but it's they survive and they it's consistent with what we doing though. You know what I'm saying? So you look at that, and then how these people was telling you your family was living, and your family always pretty much ate the same shit. You know, they don't really deviate unless you go out to a restaurant or whatever. But for the most part, you gonna cook what you was taught to eat or what you ate coming up. You know what I'm saying? You might throw a few different recipes in there here and there, but for the most part, niggas try to eat the same without some niggas eat light. That's some new shit. But we have all your people have always had clothes on, right? Smoke.
Yeah, for sure. But let me ask you a question though, real quick.
Yeah.
Are you suggesting?
Can I
Are you
interject?
suggesting? I'm just saying. Are
I
you
was, I was,
suggesting that what was observed from those who visited or yeah, whatever you want to call that occurrence? Are you suggesting that what they observed was a monolithic society?
They didn't observe nothing. They observe what they observe. They're gonna tell you the opposite because remember this. This is the narrative, right? This is the method of the madness, and this is also their mo modus operandi, right? So the word is oh shit. The so-called Aborigines in America didn't know what to do with the land. They were savages. They was hunter-gatherers, nomadic type people, right? Bam. But then, bam. Oh shit. Where these structures come from? Oh, nah, white people couldn't build that because now we know that they were slaves. And now we start figuring out otherwise. You see what I'm saying? So it's like that's the narrative. The narrative is the people here was primitive. They wasn't utilizing the land in this fully. They sold Manhattan for however much. They sold Louisiana for however much. They gave up this place. This people came over here and took this shit from them. This people came over here and took this part from them. They was being enslaved. They was always on the offense. And I don't see that. I don't see that coming into the 19th century with our history. I
hey,
see a bunch
Smoke.
of, huh?
No, I'm listening. I'm waiting for you to
See, but what
finish.
I don't what I don't see is any indication of an objection coming forth from our people, right? I see our people for the most part conceding to the historical account. Now, I'm not saying that that's actually the case, but what I'm observing from my perspective is that yeah, it actually is. So where's the objections, or was it all whitewashed? I'm just asking.
Yeah, that's what I was saying too. I was saying like just to go along with their story and their narrative is that they came and they tore down all that we had, but it don't seem to be
They
so
didn't tear it
because
down.
like you said, when you look around today, we as black people, we are the only thing that can stop us. And I think it was true in that day and time also to where they try to take credit for tearing down and breaking down our civilizations. But I think that we had an enemy amongst ourselves before they even showed up.
And that's
And
what's
that's not what's
right
being
now.
spoken on. That people
Yeah,
don't nobody want to highlight what indigenous population or organization. We want to uplift the Aztecs, the Maya, the Moors, the Olmecs, but somewhere, some of these niggas, and we got to start pointing these niggas out. Some of these niggas is
yeah,
agents.
yeah. All of these different trains of thoughts are pretty much tying into the ideological, dogmatic reason as to why we are fighting amongst each other. Because you have to ask yourself, in the region where you was born, what were you taught? Everybody know when it comes to the southeast woodland regions, you have the Bible Belt. What did the Bible Belt consist of? Bringing people in, bringing the Bible. The Bible. That's known. Like when you look at the history, it's known. Ain't nobody trying to cover that shit up. But what you got to understand is this. When you start to break down your family's consanguinity, what is it that your family knew? What is it amongst the family that they know or they shared or they said that is going to prioritize you into knowing where you came from? I'm
Yeah,
sick and tired
but
of people not
it's history
realizing
too,
that they
yo.
don't
It's
know where they
you have
came from. Because peep this, Ahanu. My grandmother lived down Highway 84. Research Highway 84 in Georgia. And I can show you them building, and I can show you niggas putting that lumber down on the railroad that stretched through 84. And I can show you the dirt road my grandma lived on. And she lived in a tin roof house. I can show you houses in Cuba with tin roofs. I can show you houses in Hispaniola with tin roofs. And I can show you houses in the same area with tar from the tar trees that created the type of roofing that motherfuckers still use to this day. Because I had a grandmother that lived under a tar roof and a grandmother that lived under a tin roof. We're just talking Rios to Roberts and all of the different names that make up the
Talk
DNA
about it.
of me. Roofs. I'm talking about it gets so hot in South Georgia, you gotta stand on the roof and water it down with a watering hose just to cool the house and inside. But
but
then when you
even
go to Florida, guess what? The houses ain't got no tin, but certain portions of Florida, the houses got tin. Before you get to specific parts of Florida, guess what the houses have? They have a clay model, a clay.
they're like a mom, what they call them shits?
Yep.
Them dome houses they building
Dome.
now.
Exactly.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
And our
Monolithic some
ancestors
shit.
built those houses too.
Mm-hmm.
These motherfuckers ain't come over here and build these houses. They were built already here.
The pyramid structure is ours, and the three pillars
The oval,
holding up
yeah,
holding up
the
the
oval
pyramid
dome, the
structure.
oval office,
Yeah.
those type of houses, you find them all in Florida and South Georgia.
Hey,
Where I'm
real quick,
from.
Yos. Let me just. I want to ask
No,
Smoke
no, go
Signal
ahead, go
something
ahead,
real
bro.
quick. Smoke
Yeah, yeah.
Signal.
Go ahead.
All right. So look, I just want to take a short walk with you, right? So boom, you done the observation, right? You seen the information that showed Negroes was in America at the same time before any slave trade or before any Columbus story, right? You're clear on that, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, okay. All right. So you're clear on you did your genealogy and now you know how to recognize because even when you do your genealogy, if you don't know if you don't know who the Indians are or who the real Indians is, you still gonna be lost because you might find a one grandmother say they got Indian on their on their documentation, and then you might just discard of that because everybody else got Negro. So you have to know the history to go to know what you're looking for when you're doing your genealogy. Most
Yeah,
people don't.
I'm
You just
past.
you
Right.
understand. So even when you see Negro, Negro is also
Yeah.
Aboriginal. You know what I'm
Look, I'm
saying?
past.
All right.
Look,
So you
I'm past. Yeah, I'm past the identity hijack. I'm
All right,
past
so
that.
you
I'm
did
beyond
so.
it.
All right, so we doing a scientific method. You did your observation, right? You did your you came up with your hypothesis, which you already be explaining in multiple different ways, right? So you did you come up with a theory?
No, I hadn't reached the stage of a
So
theory yet,
the theory
because I don't think it's a theory. What I'm noticing though is a paradox between the behavior of the people who were lied about and the actual historical account. Is all I'm suggesting. Because where I do not see any objection to the narrative being pushed, even by the people that was being pushed again, that should be obvious in the historical account some motherfucking world. And I don't think a nigga ought to be having to dig deep to unburied pyramids and shit to find such a suggestion. Just, my observation. Look, we got this goofy nigga over here, but I'm gonna let y'all have at him. I don't got no smoke for the opposition right now. I'm just asking you Aboriginal niggas
Nah,
some
but
questions. Go ahead.
we ain't done talking yet. We ain't done talking if it's all right with you. I just want to be clear on it, right? So that sound like a theory to me. What you just said, right? That sound like a theory, right? So do an experiment now. Where you live at, Smoke?
I'm about to show Smoke book.
What
Nah,
you
real
say?
quick. Hold up, real quick. Smoke.
No, I'm
Where
gonna
you
let
live at?
y'all get it in. I'm
Where,
about to mute.
where you live at, Smoke?
I'm currently in Memphis.
You in Memphis?
For sure.
I bet. All right. So look, check this out, right? Are you afraid to approach your people just to ask them a question? Like, I mean, would that be something you can do without a problem? Like, maybe when you go to the shopping center, you go, just on your local journey, like, hey, have you ever heard anybody in your family say you may have Indian in your family?
No,
And
see,
why?
this is where my inquisitive nature come from. Because when I approach my elders, mother, auntie, grandparents, they gone already. What I'm saying is they are in support of the slave narrative, though. Yeah,
Nah,
we
but
came
no,
from
but
Africa.
I'm not just
These,
talking about them.
no,
This
these
is
my
for
elders though.
Nah,
These
I
my elders.
understand
When I'm
that.
talking about
Oh, okay.
Smoke.
right.
This is for
But I'm saying they highly indoctrinated. They They highly in favor of religious doctrines and all the goofy shit. Is what I'm saying. So when I do my independent
Reconstruction.
research, I don't find the goofy shit in the record. Is why I always ask this question: why are the people who are being lied about? Why are they not challenging the narrative? It
Have
seems
you
that they.
asked? What have you?
It
Look,
seems that.
Smoke.
It seems that niggas really. It seems that niggas, for the most part, have been in favor of the narrative. That's just like one of the main questions I'll always ask. Like, 'cause I wouldn't just let no motherfucker body lie on me. I don't give a fuck when the lie started to initially begin. I would have been that nigga that was like, what the fuck you talking about? We've been here all the time. We ain't no Africans. There's somewhere in the historical account that report should exist. And I'm not seeing it. I'm seeing a bunch of niggas right now trying to go back and straighten that shit up. Where these motherfuckers that was standing on it then? Where they at? Where them niggas at?
They
Well,
ain't care. They
down
didn't
here in
know.
Texas, I want to add something in. Down here in Texas, we celebrate Juneteenth. Juneteenth, I can't think of the Indian tribe or what we call Indian tribe.
The
On
Indians were the Karankawa.
the Conqueror Indians on
Yeah,
Galveston Island.
Karankawa.
I
Yeah, I
did
know exactly what you're talking about. Go ahead, bro.
I did military school on Galveston Island because I was beating up too many people smoking too much weed in public school. So I had to go to military school on Galveston Island. Now, we always celebrated Juneteenth down here in Texas. But see, the narrative is pushed out and it's really positive, and people want to throw shame on Texas. Well, y'all celebrate being free from slavery 2 years after, or however many years after the rest of the world was free. But if you actually do the research on it, Juneteenth is a celebration of a specific, the brother just said the tribe, a specific tribe of Black indigenous Indians that we celebrate their freedom on Galveston Island and many other parts of the South when you cross over to Mississippi and Louisiana and many other rural parts here in Texas. But we've always celebrated the freedom of our Black, indigenous, Aboriginal people being freed later at a later time here in Texas. But if you don't have the knowledge and you believe this narrative that they're pushing, and like you don't know what you're talking about, you don't know what's really going on. But Juneteenth is a celebration that's now a federal holiday of a black tribe, which we were all black tribes being free here in Texas later than most of the rest of the parts of the nation.
The Karankawa.
Now you see how I'm just saying. You see how confusing that could be, right? Because when you say free in a black tribe, which is supposed to be some people that was always here, then it begs the question: well, how the fuck they get tied up in the slavery narrative in the first place? If they was always here,
Are you questioning?
hold on, I'm just
how we
saying
got tied up in slavery? Or are
slavery.
you questioning that we've now waking up to our identity? I'm not sure. I could have gave you another story or another example if that's the question, but I tried to
feel
answer
you.
the question
I
that
feel
you
you.
asked.
Look, I feel you because I was born in Texas, right? But my mama folks from Tennessee and Memphis. I mean Tennessee and Mississippi. That's why I ended up in Memphis, right? Come back to visit my mama folks. Ended up on probation, and yeah, you can figure out the rest of the story. What I'm saying is, I'm from Texas, and I know Juneteenth is something that niggas in Texas always celebrate. Even before it was even before it became the holiday shit. And then now niggas with the admixture to the whole history of it or whatever. But still back then, all I can remember celebrating Juneteenth was based on that Emancipation Proclamation bullshit. Now we come to find out that that's part of the damn what you call it remix single. You see what I'm saying? That's part of the remix single. What I'm saying, a whole lot of this shit exists in utter confusion. Is what I'm saying. Go ahead.
Nah,
you gotta be convinced. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Yo.
No, I was just gonna say, like, it was part of the cognitive dissonance because, like, the Karankawa, you know, like when you look up the Indian tribe that went through what they went through, that was about them. It had nothing to do with no Africa, none of this stuff that they're trying to push on us. That's why we have been researching, and a lot of people who have been on the same wave, on the same condition, and the same frequency are sharing information about where we're from, because the more we share information about where we're from, no different than me sharing information about South Georgia and the Timbuktu and all of these different natures of being. This is how we break the devil's back, or the camel's back, that has been trying to keep us oppressed for so long and push us into Africa when we know we are right here, because we're
Right. And
information.
I want to say,
Hey, listen,
that's
hold
why.
on a second.
Digress.
Yeah, I was gonna say, man, that's what I was saying, man, because I gotta give the brother telling the truth. Like, I didn't know Juneteenth was no Indian holiday, but I remember people would throw shade at it. I remember being in the military, being around other black people. You know, I'm kicking it with my brothers out from Compton. My brother, he said, well, I'm from Bompton. I'm kicking with my brothers from New York, my brother down from Florida. And, you know, they would look at it and look down upon it because y'all celebrate something, y'all slow and this and that. But I still, like I talked about divine intervention, something just told me, man, don't let it go. Don't let it go, because something going to come out about it, and it's going to make them. And it's something about, man, even if you can't get the knowledge, you got to know, if we these special people that we say we are, you got to know that you are a high-tech being, and then you could tap into knowledge, and not just your emotions, but something should be telling you, hey, even if you seeing and it's written down in black and white and the instructions are not good for you, you got to know. And just like the brother was talking about the cyber
your
stuff and
intuition,
technology,
man.
we also are futuristic beings, to where this technology, all this stuff is built up with this black sources and this black technology, all these solar panels and all this stuff, to where it's even going to be there for us in the future, to where we can hack into this stuff and tap into this stuff just with our mind frame.
Right. I mean, just to be real, we might not be going down the particular path our ancestors paved the way for when we advancing in technology. I just want us to start reevaluating the system, the way technology is set up. Would this have been the way that your ancestors set up their technologically feats? And man, I enjoyed this conversation from all you brothers. Man, I got to get out of here, take care of a few things. We've been here for almost 4 hours. It was a dope live stream. I really enjoyed this. Shout out to Lil Yos Rios, man, the triple OG, man. We got a Hanu Kiel, aka Atanchin, this one, man, the OG. Eric Davidson, man, coming through with some heat, giving this a very, very intel perspective. We had Smoke Signal, critical thinking and challenging the narrative at hand. And we had Dark Side Official, aka Lex. Did not get a chance to speak yet, but we'll resume this on another note, man. I really do appreciate everybody in the building, man. Make sure y'all hit that like button, thumb up the video, support the channel, man. It's your brother Aboriginal Power. And we out, man. Shout out to everybody in the building. Make sure y'all be safe, be aware, stay vigilant, stay dangerous. We out. Peace.
See, my life has been in motion. I'm a little windy. I'm not giving up yet. If you with me, time to place up your bet. Ain't no turning back. Got niggas who ran. When we caught his ass, got caught in that jam. Yeah, you know who I am. Yeah, you know who I am. I can feel it coming. I can feel it coming. It's that feeling in your stomach, you can feel it coming. It's that feeling in your stomach, you can feel it coming. Yeah, you can feel it coming. Fake love, that snake you in your face, love. That snake you in your face, love. I told my brothers we gon' make it, that's how God wrote it. And the snake gon' show his face, cause that's how God wrote it. Too much fake love, that snake you in your face, love. Your face, love. That snake you in your face, love. I told my brothers we gon' make it, that's how God wrote it. And the snake gon' show his face, cause that's how God wrote it. Too much fake love, that snake you in your face, love. That snake you in your face, love. I told my